Russia will redo it. He can do things with his tongue you wouldn't believe it. Peace through strength on the earth beyond.
I'm just testing things out, people. But since he decided to do this stupid press conference, I'm going to use that as my guinea pork. Hold on. 3, 2, 1. Welcome to the show. There is everybody. Okay, yeah, working. And, god damn it. Still a weird coloring. Okay, hold on one second. Let's see. Go back to camera set. Hi, everybody. I'm just going to keep testing this till it no longer drives me crazy. Let's see. First of all, the white balance is way out. There you go. That's a little better. Also, lips are far too pink. I think that's a tint issue. That's green. That's all right. That's evens it out a little bit. I still don't get why my lips are so very red. I'm working on it. Hi, chat room. And by the way, I guess I could say hello to you while I'm working this shit out. It's the lipstick du jour. That's the lipstick of the day. That sounds good. I'll have that. Processing, focus, picture. Okay, so I guess if I bring the saturation down, still, that just grays me out entirely, and the contrast is really fucked up. Hi, everybody. I'm going to bring that down a little bit, too. Maybe that's it. All right. Bring the temperature up a little warmer, because I am not, for all practical purposes, green. This is a little closer to my skin tone. All right, let's give it a shot. I'll work on more of that later. Now let's just see if the clips will actually work and stuff after the monkeying around I've been doing in the background. Obviously, this is fabulous. It's going to be great. There was somebody making a big deal online about the fact that there's no Trump banner behind him with these things up. When he does these dumbass things from Mar-a-Lago, he often shows the furniture in the background and shit like that. This weird symbol that's on the wall that stands for, like, you know, whatever, the Thule Society golf tournament, you know, 1937 or whatever it was, is not surprising. Also, he doesn't have the banner on the front, and that's also matching the banner on the back. So maybe this is just a Bohemian Grove coding session. But we'll find out. Hi, everybody. Hit that like, subscribe, all the stuff I'm supposed to say when it's a real stream. Am I in sync? Do I seem to be speaking in time with my face. Yes? Chat room, let me know. Is it working? Okay, all right. Fuck, man. I have to, right now, as it stands, every time I start the software that I do the show on, you don't give a shit, but I have to, I have to, like, turn off the camera inside the software and turn it back on. It's just one step, but it's whatever the fuck. Anyways, and there's still this line. See where my hand disappears? See how it's darker right here? It shouldn't be. And that's a green screen thing that just decided to fucking happen all of a sudden. And I don't know why. But every time I try to fix it, it makes little ants crawly all over my my outsides. It's a long story. I'm working it out. It might just be an incompatibility issue or something, but I'm working on it. At least I'm in sync. Whatever. Yeah, no. Okay. I'm not going to go into an NSYNC song. Let's give this a try. Is he backstage kind of going, somebody start humming God Bless America, the Lee, not the song, the Lee Greenwood song. I'm proud to be American, or at least I know. Does he have somebody that whispers it in his ear, you know? Remember, thou art proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. Yeah, he was. I have no doubt he was late. Let's skipping ahead. There he is, and he looks rested. Jesus.
Well, thank you very much.
Oh, hold on. Thank you very much. I'm happy to be here. I made a great decision. I made a great decision about Vance. My mother, my mother was a couch. All right, here we go.
Appreciate your being here.
Big sniff right out of the gate. So he just took a big blazing rail of Adderall and Sudafed and Pervitin. So he's definitely. This is going to be a long one.
Just a statement before I talk about debates. I think that our country is right now in the most dangerous position it's ever been in.
Oh, he means Russia. Okay, yeah, so, right, that's what, this makes sense. So, for those of you that don't know, Ukraine invaded Russia like 2 days ago, and they've taken more land in the last 2 days than Russia has taken in the last 6 months. By the way, Russia, of course, advancing on like farmland in a country they have already like an overwhelming number of people in, and Ukraine, a much smaller country, invaded Russia. So they've taken like a big chunk of the Kursk Oblast, like 11 cities, little towns, which I don't know what the fuck, but they're calling settlements in the news. They're not settlements, they're towns. What the fuck is wrong with you? Anyway, that's a weird thing. I think it's just they're so used to fucking talking about, like, I don't know, Gaza and, in the West Bank that they don't know how to even talk about this stuff. Anyways, but Russia was invaded by Ukraine, and so listen to this as if it was in Russian, I suppose.
From an economic standpoint, from a safety standpoint.
From a lot of standpoints. Stan was telling me right before I came out, he's, you all know Stan, he's the guy with the pointy head. Hello.
Both gangs on the street and, frankly, gangs outside of our country.
Gangs everywhere. We're just, the gangs all here.
The form of other countries that are, frankly...
Whoa. In the form of other countries? Sorry, real quick. The gangs... So other countries are just gangs now. Okay.
And, frankly, gangs outside of our country in the form of other countries that are, frankly, very powerful. They're very powerful countries, and we don't know what we're doing. We have leadership.
We're very powerful countries that are basically gangs. Russia, China, Iran. It's like, it's gang warfare. Therefore, when I'm president, I will use the LAPD circa 1993 to go after them.
That has no clue how to handle that.
There it goes again. See, the Russians, that's how I tell when they're jumping in on my fucking feed and they're going to shut me down. They blinked the ring light once. the ever-loving hell.
Or how to handle any other situation.
Right. Again. Everything sucks. It's all awful. Everything's awful. It's just awful. Why won't you people see that everything sucks? Why are there people golfing without me? No. All right.
We have a lot of bad things coming up. You could end.
I'm so glad he called this presser, because these are things he's been wanting to say for a long time, and he had to figure out the exact perfect way to say it.
Up in a depression of the 1929
of depressing levels like no one's ever leveled depressing before.
Variety, which would be a devastating thing, took many years, took decades to recover from it, and we're very close to that. And
Granted, we didn't have the internet then, and cars had a range of about 80 miles. So, and there weren't gas stations everywhere. So, I mean, it's just going to be real different when you recover. There's also not a structural insurance system to make sure that people don't fall through the cracks. And, we don't have a large functioning government that, on a scale that would have, quite frankly, this government, as it stands, could have handled 1929 like a fucking hurricane. Yeah.
Very close to a world.
How does he think this...
World war. In my opinion, we're very close to a world war. We have people that don't know how to handle it.
I can't handle it.
They're not respected. All over the world, they're laughed at.
He's been calling world leaders, and they've been laughing at him and hanging up again. He gets so mad. It's like, fucking hell, where is it? It's like, hello, can I talk to Vladimir? Stop laughing. Yes, America sucks right now, but it's his friend Donald. Hello. Get Eric. You misdialed. Get what was that one you had trouble saying? Azerbaijan. Just dial it. Hello? King Azerbaijan Dodger? Yeah, it's Donald Trump. You stop laughing at America. I need help. He's such a dickhead. Okay. Oh shit! I have to start the Instagram. I did not. With the startings of the Instagram as well. Well, it doesn't matter right now. I'm just testing, so we'll be all right.
And we can't have that. Most dangerous period of time I've ever seen for our country.
For our country. Not since you avoided service in Vietnam, and the entirety of the fucking Cold War, where we were on the edge of nuclear war.
With that being said,
I'd like to discuss my tax cuts for the rich. We're all gonna die, but it would be terrible if I had to pay 12% instead of 8%. What is this bullshit? War is for poor people to die in.
we have somebody that hasn't received one vote for president, and she's running.
Right, yeah, the election's not till November, dumb fuck.
And that's fine with me. But we were given Joe Biden, and now we're given somebody else. And I think, frankly, I'd rather be running against somebody else. But that was their choice. They decided to do that because...
Her name is Kamala, and if you'd rather run against her, why are you afraid to say her fucking name, you absolute tit? You know what it is? It's that he's so commanding when he comes out. Can you imagine? The only thing sadder than this press conference right now is Greg Kelly's boner. Because as this goes on, it's just starting to lilt.
Kamala's record is horrible. She's a radical left person at a level that nobody's seen.
I mean, you do realize a lot of us were alive like during Khrushchev. You know, Xi Jinping's on TV every so often, right? You do realize it's like, and even if you're saying in the United States, like fucking, did you hear Cory Bush yesterday?
She picked a radical left man that is...
he had to search very hard for that word. How can I really insult him?
He's got things done that He has positions that are just not, it's not even possible to believe that they exist. He's going for things that nobody's ever even heard of.
All right, we all owe John Boyd an apology, because at least his sentence structure, while curious and abnormal, was consistent. Can you imagine? Imagine the group sitting around on Air Force, Trump Force 2, right? Whatever the shit, like Northwestern Airlines leftover jet that they polished like a turd and slapped decals on, that they have JD Vance flying around in. Imagine all those assholes sitting around watching this on a little screen in that shit, or on somebody's iPad, and just the flop sweat.
Heavy into the transgender world, heavy into lots of different worlds.
Yes. He knows the Tolkien very well, that all the Harry Potter stories, Star Wars, Star Trek. He doesn't care. All these different worlds.
To do with safety. He doesn't want to have borders. He doesn't want to have walls. He doesn't want to have any form of safety for our country.
No, not any form at all. None. He's just patently against safety as a general rule. Okay, then how are you going to go after him for gun regulations then? Because that would seem to be, fuck me.
He doesn't mind people coming in from prisons, and neither does she, I guess, because she couldn't care less. She's the border czar. By the way, she was the border czar 100%.
This is amazing. This is really amazing. By the way, what was I saying? Never mind. Anyways, fuck her.
Percent. And all of a sudden, for the last few weeks, she's not the border czar anymore.
Yeah, she wasn't the border czar. She was in charge of stopping the migration in the countries it was coming from, and she made great progress. But that kind of shit takes like a year, and what do you know? A year to the, almost to a day, they've slowed down the people crossing.
Like nobody ever said it. And I just...
Like nobody ever said it. Okay.
Just hope that the media becomes more diligent, more honest, frankly, because if they're not going to be honest, it's going to be much tougher to bring our country back.
Yeah, it's going to be really tough if they don't start mentioning that you weren't just on the Jeffrey Epstein flight logs. You were also on the Jeffrey Epstein call logs, and in both of his private address books with little weird markings next to your name. What? I mean, as a press person, I think it behooves the general public and everybody in general, if they would just, speaking as a general press conference, if maybe they ask you what those little markings mean next to your name in Jeffrey Epstein's little book. Yeah. By the way, this is just a test. I'm testing my gear today, and I've still got more shit to do. Apparently, the focus is off on my camera as well, but I'll work on it.
Very, very sick country right now. You saw the other day with the stock market crashing. That was just the beginning.
And the end. It kind of came and went, fucko. I don't know if you've been... I don't know if you're keeping up on current events, but you just got your ass kicked, pal.
That was just the beginning. It's going to get worse. It's going to get a lot worse, in my opinion.
In my opinion. Well, you also think it's 20, 30, maybe 50 million people have come in.
And fortunately, we've had some very good polls over the last fairly short period of time. Rasmussen came out today. We're substantially leading, and others came out today that we're leading, and in some cases substantially. I guess NBC came out, or CNBC came out also with a
he doesn't you have the energy to say MSDNC
poll that was has us leading, and leading fairly big in swing states. In some polls, I'm leading very big in swing states because they want safety. People want safety. They want security. They want respect all around the world for our country. They don't want this horrible.
What's the word? Horribleness.
Culture that is developing, a culture of no common sense. It's really a culture of no common sense, and it's not.
It's so, you know what? I take it back. He does have a way with words, and he can just, he's like a marketing genius. You know what I mean? Because you and I wouldn't come up with something like culture of no common sense. I wouldn't even think to go there. That would never occur to me. That's just genius in its own way.
It's not what anyone wants. We want to have a safe country. We want to have a strong military. We want low interest rates, and we want to be able to have the American dream. We want to be able to have our youth be able to buy homes, housing, get good jobs. And we're really just at the opposite right now.
Yes, we're really just at the opposite right now. And some people are like, what is he up to? What is he? This is just bullshit. This is just because people have been pointing out that while Harris, they're bitching about like Harris hasn't done an interview or something, and he isn't either. He did that fucking podcast earlier and he hated it, and so he hasn't been seen since. And so it was building to a bit of a fever pitch, and so he felt like he had to come out and say something. So they just staged this for him to wander out and try to say something incendiary that like buys back some of the news cycle for him.
So sad to see.
It's not gonna work.
But
it is. I was just saying. That's so funny because I was just saying it's kind of sad to see. I mean, funny sad.
As a border czar, she's been the worst border czar in history, in the world history.
In the world history. And he knows world history.
Our army manned the airports. It ran the ramparts. It took over the airports. It did everything it had to do.
Absolutely. I mean,
I think the number is 20 million, but whether it's 15 or 20, it's numbers that nobody's ever heard before. 20 million people came over.
I've heard the number 15 and I've heard the number 20 before. I have heard those numbers. I don't know about you. As a matter of fact, I think I've heard them from him a bunch of times.
The border during the Biden-Harris administration, 20 million people, and it could be very much higher than that. Nobody really knows what the number is. Nobody.
Oh, then if nobody knows, it could be a lot lower. It could be like 2. I mean, considering your history of multiplying everything by 10, I think we can pretty much translate this as probably 2 million people. That's, wow. Congratulations to the Biden-Harris administration. Holy shit. Your numbers are way down. If I do say so my damn self. Hold on real quick. I'm going to pop this in here and see if that was the problem causing my issue before. And then we go. And all right, here we go. This is the rest of this dipshittery.
Nobody has a clue.
No, least of all your staff and the Rasmussen dude who apparently lives in your butthole.
And the gotaways, they call them the gotaways. The gotaways are at numbers. Somebody was quizzing me on it the other day. No, I don't.
That's the name of my punk band, by the way.
I don't think so, sir. I don't think so. They have no idea what those numbers are.
And therefore, neither do you. So maybe shut the fuck up?
But they're much higher than.
How do you know? If they don't know and you don't know, how do you know they're much higher? Maybe, hey, they're much lower.
And you would think, just like far more people were killed in the Ukraine-Russia war than you ever report.
What? What? Where is this coming from? Why in the middle of a discussion about our border are you suddenly all concerned about something that's happening across the fucking ocean, right?
Just like the October 7th would have never happened, Russia would have never hit Ukraine had the election result been called differently.
Right, you would have just handed it to them. They wouldn't have done it at all. You would have claimed you have total immunity, sent in SEAL Team 6 to kill Zelensky, and then hand the country over. That would have been easy.
It was a very bad call, but Russia would not have attacked Ukraine. October 7th in Israel would have never happened. You wouldn't have inflation. A lot of great things would have happened, but now you have millions and millions of dead people, and you have people dying financially because they can't buy
Millions and millions of dead people? Hang the fuck out. Okay, first of all, the number of dead in the Ukraine-Russia war currently is probably somewhere around 750,000, with a third of those being Ukrainians and half, and 2/3 being Russians. So they're not even at 1 million. If you stack on top of that this allegation that every fentanyl death is the responsibility of A, immigrants, and B, the Biden-Harris immigration policy and the lack of a border bill, fuck it, that's your fault. So we're not even at 1 million, and where the fuck is millions and millions coming from?
bacon. They can't buy food. They can't buy groceries. They can't do anything.
They can't do anything. Yeah, that's the thing. Americans, you can't do anything. What are you doing, America? Huh? You can't do anything. You can't go, sure as fuck can't go to a Trump rally again to hear the same shit. Then always drive to Florida or Texas because it's the only place he wants to hold them, because he can't go back to the same place twice because he didn't pay his fucking bills.
And they're living horribly in our country.
They are horribly
Right now.
They're living horribly in our country. Right. All right. What is this gibberish? Is he getting to a point? Is this his preamble to reading a statement?
With all of that being said, I think it's very important to have debates. And we've agreed with Fox on a date of September 4th.
Who's we?
We've agreed with
You and Fox?
with NBC, fairly full agreement, subject to them, on September 10th. And we've agreed with ABC on September 25th. So we have those three.
So basically, you approached Fox and NBC about it, and you want to add two, I guess. All right, whatever, fine. And the Fox one would be like with a live audience is the idea at one of your rallies, right? Is the idea, so you can load it up with people. You're gonna bring Doug Emhoff's nanny. Is that the idea? Good Lord.
Three dates, and those networks, they're very anxiously awaiting that date and those dates.
They're waiting with bated breath. Yeah. NBC is like all aflutter. Oh my. Will the 28th or the 16th, what day is it? The 17th? Wait, I don't know what the day is. Just tell you what, 2 days before it's supposed to be here, someone hit me with a fan.
So we have September 4th, September 10th, and September 25th. We have...
My birthday? Oh, joy, oh, rapture. I get to have a debate on my birthday? Somebody's got to get me tickets to that.
Spoken to the heads of the network, and it's all been confirmed, other than some fairly minor details. Audience, some location, which city would we put it into, but all things that will be settled very easily, I think it'll be very easy. The other side has to agree to the terms.
So you haven't? Yeah, I mean, I'm sure the networks are like, yeah, okay, if they want to do it, we'll do it. But I don't know that. How about live fact checking? Yeah, will that be a thing? Each one of them have agreed to live fact checking?
They may or may not agree. I don't know if they're going to agree. She hasn't done an interview. She can't do an interview. She's barely competent, and she.
Yeah, she couldn't come out and freeball it like this.
She can't do an interview. But I look forward to the debates because I think we have to set the record straight. Why is it that millions of people were allowed to come into our country from prisons, from jails, from mental
Oh, I know. They weren't.
institutions, insane asylums, even insane asylums. That's a...
Fuck you, dude. This is not the time to go Silence of the Lambs. That is insane asylum. It's bigger and yet smaller and a step higher than a mental institution.
It's a mental institution on steroids.
No, that's you're thinking of the Joe Rogan podcast. Sorry.
That's what it is. When you see the people that are coming into our, these are institutions that are being emptied out, not in South America, all over the world, including South America, all over the world. Prisons are being emptied out.
Phone's ringing. Sorry, 1 second. Hello? No, he's talking right now. Oh, sorry. Yeah, so I know it's pronounced Azerbaijan. He just had the, yeah. You just want, what do you want me to pass along? Ha 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 ha. Okay, yeah. Oh no, I won't let him think it's you laughing at America. I'll pass it on directly to him. Okay, yeah, thank you very much.
Into our country because we have a president that's the worst president in the history of our country. We have a vice president who is the least admired, least respected, and the worst.
It's amazing. Hold on. That's how popular Democrats are, that she's the least admired and least respected vice president ever. And she's here it is. Where is this? Try to find a crowds. Let's see. Here's crowd. Michigan, I guess. Yeah. That's funny. Give me that goddamn picture. Where is it? I just want to see how unpopular she is. Oh, that's 2020. Okay, that's 2020. I'm looking it up. Don't worry. And this is a test stream, so I can take more time. I don't know why this should be so hard. Bing, what's wrong with you? Are you suppressing it? I know. Hold on. This is the. And the her destroying the line. Yeah. Well, here you go. The most unpopular vice president in history, and this is the line to see her, I guess. That's Philadelphia. Okay, hold on 1 second. This is her. Oh, this is her. By the way, that ending that she did right there, I'm trying to find the, sorry you couldn't hear the sound on that. I was trying to find the, a crowd shot. Well, either way, you guys know.
Vice president in the history of our country, the most unpopular vice president, and because of political reasons or because of being politically correct.
Yeah, that's it. Hold on 1 second. I'll pop over. I'm going to check my chat window. There you go. Hi, everybody. Real quick, I'm going to jump in here and go to X and go to, this will be the easiest way, just to revisit that, because I feel like that's a necessary thing. Here you go. Let's see. This yeah, this is. Looks like. Hold on. This is the crowd in. It's a crowd. This is the crowd in Eau Claire, Wisconsin. I almost said Au Pair. Let's turn the audio off on this, and I'll just show you the. There you go. She's the least popular. This is what the least popular Democrat gets. This is the bottom of the barrel, folks. This is scraping the bottom of the barrel. This is, yeah. So just to clarify, I think it's an important thing. Also, if I may, here's the line. This right here. To get in. Here you go. Play, you silly thing. Continuing on. This is the line to get in to see the least popular vice president in the history of the country. Democrat, I presume he means. So the least popular Democrat gets that kind of a crowd, and the leader of the greatest movement in the history of American politics is giving a four-flag presser in a abandoned dining room at his, I guess, Mar-a-Lago club, right?
Even though she never received a vote. Don't forget, she was the first one defeated.
She actually did. She became the vice president. She's the vice president. The ticket won. The ticket beat you, by the way.
I remember it because I
by a lot.
Watched it very closely, but she was the first one. She never made it to Iowa, the first state. She never made it to Iowa. She was the first one that was defeated. She was the nastiest to him. She was nasty with the calling him a racist and the school bus and all.
And the school bus and the racist and the nasty, and she was nasty. Notice how women are nasty. I gotta say real quick, if I may, Jeffrey Epstein, fucking nasty. That dude was stank on shit. He was a nasty human being. But he'll never throw that word at a dude. I mean, that was his friend. It's a bad example, obviously. But
all of the different things. She was very nasty to Biden. And shockingly, he appointed her, asked her to serve as vice president. Well, I don't know if he's happy about that decision right now. This was taken away. The presidency was taken away from Joe Biden. And I'm no Biden fan, but I'll tell you what, from a constitutional standpoint, from any standpoint you look at, they took the presidency away.
Okay, first of all, from any standpoint, no, they didn't. He chose to step down. There's no, and nobody's guaranteed a second fucking term. Biden would know that more than anybody. He chose to do this. And also, she still got to run for office. He didn't step down, you dumb motherfucker. That's the weird thing. Like, they are all reacting as if him not choosing not to run for another term is him stepping down as president. I honestly think this dumb motherfucker thinks Kamala Harris is the president now. And that he's running against an incumbent because he's an incumbent president, not just an incumbent vice president. Because I mean, that's the only thing that explains how fucking stupid this is. It's the only thing. It's so odd. And it's just like, it's non-fucking stop. It's just so very odd. All right, I see. So that might be part of my issue. Fixing something, if I may. Nope, that's too much. I'm starting to disappear, like Marty McFly. All right. I don't know why that's so crinkly. It shouldn't be. There's a lot of particularization. It's I need a new video card. God damn it. That's what it is, probably. I just don't think it can handle it. Okay, let's see. Here. Shadow. Okay, close. Either way. 3, 2. Hold on. Let me stamp this out. I'm working on stuff. This is a test stream, so I'm trying to fix some things that are. Oh, look at that. And I fucking it did it again. Hold on. Cancel. Made me out of sync. Got to go to here. Oh, I've got to go to there. Go to here. Pardon me while I pardon our mess. Properties and goodbye and hello, and it should be fixed. There we go. Okay, and we turn that off, and then we go back to what we were doing. Oh yes. All right. Continuing from here.
And people were saying he lost after the debate. He couldn't win. Well, I don't know that that's true necessarily.
Put him back in. Put him back in.
But whether he could win or he couldn't win, he had the right to run, and they took it away. They said they're going to use the.
No, he gave it away. He again. And what did they say? Tell us what. Tell us how they leveraged him out. What were they going to do?
25th Amendment. They're going to hit you hard. Either we can do it the nice. I know exactly because I know a lot of people.
I know a lot of people. They told him, "Hey, we're gonna. If you try to run, we're gonna do everything we can, and then what's gonna happen? We're gonna because they told him the exact same thing they told me, folks."
On the other side, believe it or not, and
I don't believe it. I don't. I mean, I could. I guess if I thought about it. Nah. Do I believe? Nah.
And they said we'll do it the nice way, or we'll do it the hard way, and he said,
Isn't it easy or hard? He probably, and then he turned on his dark Brandon eyes and killed them all. Yeah, it's the hard way or the easy way. We can do this the easy way, or we can do this the hard way. Nobody says the nice way and the hard way. You weirdo.
all right. So that.
That's what it did. So the years of you attacking his son and treating him like shit and all this stuff. But this was the last. It was like, all right, phew.
I mean, they've really taken what they've done is pretty incredible. And now.
He's got toddler eyes. He has no fucking idea where he's going.
Now I'm running against somebody else, and we're leading. We're leading. So I'm not complaining. I'm saying it's a.
You sound like you're complaining. I gotta say, I'm gonna go out on a limb and say it sounds like a complaint. I don't want to get all fucking curb your enthusiasm on this enthusiasms, but it sounds like you're complaining. It sounds like a complaint. I'm just saying it doesn't sound like you like it. If it was a good thing, I don't even think you'd bring it up. I think you'd just be smiling and kind of high-fiving yourself, and you'd be like, this is going to be easier, and you'd be looking forward to. You wouldn't look like you wouldn't look like a mid-'80s congressman who admits to an affair with a boy and has to step down, because that's the energy of this presser. I'm just saying.
For a country with a constitution that we cherish this constitution. To have done it this way is pretty severe, pretty horrible.
Hi, fuckwad. Again, this has nothing to do with the Constitution. This is the Democratic Party. They can run whoever the fuck they want. The leadership of the party can choose to swap people out. The person themselves can step down. You're not guaranteed a second term. You still have to go through the election. They're not, motherfucker, you're trying to override the Constitution to get yourself installed for a third term. You think you deserve a do-over term. You talk about throwing out the Constitution. What the fucking parties do is not the concern of the Constitution. They're private entities. They're not guaranteed a fucking spot, dummy.
You would have thought they would have gone out to a vote. They would have had a primary system. They would have done something. But to just take it away from him like he was a child. And he's a very angry man right now. I can.
Is he? because he looks pretty cheery when I've seen him. He looks, I gotta say, in the moments that I've seen him while we've been covering all the other stuff, I gotta say he looks really relaxed. He looks like he can relax, not worry about the next thing. It's going to be in good hands, and he can leave a legacy that is incredible and focus on finishing what he wants to do during his term. I really got to say, because I even noticed his back is less stiff. Like, he's sleeping better. You, on the other hand, you look like hammered shit. I got to say.
Tell you that. He's not happy with Obama, and he's not happy with Nancy Pelosi, crazy Nancy. She is crazy, too. She's not happy with any of the people that told him that you've got to leave. He's very unhappy. Very.
Is he? Zed, were you that little boy? What are you talking about? No way, I used to beat him up, too. I used to go, why are you so fat? Why are you so fat? And I used to go, ah! I gotta feel like it sounds like he's relaying a conversation his family and friends and other people have had with him lately. And he's... Let me tell you the story of the namesake son of a non-namesake son who told his father, maybe, Pop, it's time to step aside, and... while he's saying it, he's got booger sugar all over the tip of his nose.
Angry, and I think he also blames her. He's trying to put up a good face, but it's a very bad thing in terms of a country when you do that. I'm not a fan of...
Put him back! Put him back! I thought I had a fucking shot. Put him back.
As you probably have noticed, and he had a rough debate. But that doesn't mean that you just take it away like that. Or you go out to a vote. You do something. He had 14 million votes. She had no votes. She got no votes. And
we're good. Asshole, we're good. We're fine. Thanks for caring about Democrats. We're fine. Stop. We're not like what you think. There's a plurality of RFK and Marianne Williamson voters out there who have got a chapped ass over this? Good Lord.
And I think she's crashing. I think when people find out, and I think people are starting to find out what a bad job she did.
Yeah, it's kind of like the economy. It's not crashing right now, but it will. You just watch. I mean, I know I said it would crash as soon as Biden got elected, but he kind of, if you think about it, he only just got elected. But, you know, a couple of years ago. It hasn't even been that long.
What a bad job she did on the border. She's trying to say she had...
I mean, since the Big Bang to now, 3.5 years is less than immediately.
Nothing to do with the border. She had everything. She was appointed to head the border. And then they said, Border Czar, oh, she loved that name. She loved that name. But she never went there. She went to a location once along the border, but that was a location that you would love to go and have dinner with your husband or whoever.
Or whoever. Oh, so this woman you're talking about, maybe she has dinner with her husband, but sometimes she doesn't. Sometimes this woman you speak of, she has dinner with other men besides her husband. I'm just trying to work out. I'm very invested in this story all of a sudden. And they travel. Do they cross the border? They just take these little trips down to where, you know, someplace in Arizona, I guess, where there's like a spa, and you know, and get like a couples massage. I'm just spitballing, but it sounds like
it was a location that was not part of the problem. That was not really going to the border. So I essentially.
Well, if it's an invasion, isn't the entire border? I mean, so that part you went to was sealed. The part you went to where we saw no one cross while you were there, that, okay.
Actually, she never went to the border. And if you listen to Tom Homan, if you listen to the great border people, Brandon Judd from Border Patrol, if you listen to Paul, I mean, so many different people.
Yeah, Paul, Ringo, John, George.
I speak to them all the time. and I did when I was president. We had the best border in the history of our country. Now we have the worst border in the history of the world. Millions of people coming in, and our country
not even close.
Cannot sustain it. Our country is going down because of this, because of incompetent people. So I just look forward to
Is the Adderall kicking in right about now?
these debates. I think it's very important that we have them. I hope she agrees to them. September 4th, September 10th, September 25th. And I think they'll be very revealing. I think they'll be very revealing. Do you have any questions, please?
How have you recalibrated your strategy? Hey, moron, have you been listening? He can't.
I haven't recalibrated strategy
Right.
at all. It's the same policies, open borders, weak on crime. I think she's worse than Biden because he got forced into the position. She was there long before. She destroyed San Francisco. She destroyed.
He got forced into the position? What position would that be? Kicking your ass in the 2020 election? What the fuck do you mean forced? He was the fucking underdog, dummy. Nobody but me thought he was going to be the nominee. Hey, you know who I also thought was going to be on the ticket? Kamala. Right. You dumbass.
Destroyed California as the AG, but as the DA, she destroyed San Francisco. A friend of mine, Bob Tisch, all know the Tisch family. He was in.
Yeah, we do. Of course we do. Why wouldn't we know the Tisch family? You all know the Tisch family. The San Francisco Tisches. Oh, yes. I met them when I was in the drawing room playing the grand piano.
Many cities with companies. He said the greatest city in the country is San Francisco. That was about 20 years ago. And he passed away a while ago, and he would be looking down and said, what happened?
My dead friend told me the other day, rip San Francisco. It's like it just occurred to him. It was like, all right, I'm quoting a dead guy. Shit.
He thought it was the best city in the country.
While she was... during the time she was DA and AG. You fucking moron.
He had divisions there, lows. And he would be looking down in horror now when he sees...
He'd be in heaven going, horror. I swallowed a bug. Right.
Destroyed. No cash bail. Weak on crime. Terrible. And yet they
Yeah, terrible.
weaponized the system against me. They have me. I got so many lawyers. Now they want to delay cases. I won the big case in Florida.
No, you didn't.
I won the big case. Nobody even wrote about it.
You didn't win, dummy. You didn't win. Your judge bailed out.
Case. The judge was a brilliant judge.
She's a moron.
And all they do is they play the ref with the judges. But this judge was a...
They what? All right, look. The projection thing is too much. I thought at some point, okay, as a rhetorical trick, it kind of works. I get where you're going. It works with a certain... This is just silly. This is just... Now you're fucking with me. Come on. Come on. You're just messing... You don't... This got to be AI. This is a parody. Am I watching a parody video?
Fair but brilliant judge. And as you probably heard...
Dude, she's neither.
The big documents case, I won it. Now, Biden...
No, you didn't. You temporarily got off on a technicality, which doesn't exist.
Lost it.
And by the way, has nothing to do with the merits of the case.
Because he didn't have presidential immunity. He didn't have the Presidential Records Act. He
Well, he has it now, motherfucker. I would tread lightly. I'm kidding, of course.
lost it. But the special, I call it prosecutor, special counsel, special prosecutor to me, he...
Just a lot of dry mouth, a lot of lip smacking right now. I think the Adderall's starting to kick in. He's doing that fucking snake mouth thing that he does.
appointed by him and appointed by Garland, he said the man's incompetent. He can't stand trial, but he can run for president. But we no longer have to worry about that because we have somebody that, in my opinion, is more incompetent.
Well, then, I don't know what the problem is. She's more incompetent, then this should be done and dusted.
Couldn't pass her bar exam.
She passed her bar exam.
And lots of other things. And she should not be in a position, because if she becomes president, our country is going to be a giant fail. It's going to fail. It's going to.
It's going to. Yeah, hashtag fail. Our country is going to be a giant fail. All right, even if you're trying to articulate a difficult point, even if you're trying to carry across a level of incompetence in bureaucracy that most people won't understand from a layman's point of view, and so you're trying to articulate it, you can find a way, I would hope, to articulate it in actual functional sentences. This is just fucking rubber mallets and crayons.
It'd be a failure the likes of which this world has never seen.
Really? If so, you're saying if a woman of color gets elected president, America has no chance. No matter our resilience as citizens, no matter we can get up and go to work every day, we can vote in our local elections, we can volunteer at our fucking schools, but we're gonna be day after she gets elected. We're on a rocket ship to Somalia meets Yemen meets a meteor crater when the dinosaurs were alive.
Yeah, please. No, how about you?
The lip smacking is fucking annoying. It's a good thing to lean in and go. Just so maybe that's how the people from his planet signal that one of their underlings should bring water.
You have to speak louder.
Yeah, he has a cochlear implant, so he can't hear her. Also, it's a woman's voice, so it's weird. It just somehow doesn't make it through his ear hair.
Yeah. Well, it changes around a little bit. I'm getting other.
All right. Okay. Also, this reporter is teeing him up to just march through a yard full of rakes. That's what this is. It's just like she's just chucking fucking landmines in front of him and asking him to tap dance. She knows he will.
Other voters, perhaps, I was doing very well with black voters, and I still am. I seem to be doing very well with black males. This is according to polls, as you know. It's possible that I won't do as well with black women, but I do seem to be doing very well with other segments, extremely well with Hispanic.
Yeah, but who needs women?
Jewish voters way up. White males way up. White males have gone through the roof. White males.
Yeah, white males. Who knew that was a block? Hey, asshole. Yeah, you're the Republican nominee. This is like white males through the roof. Oh, this is awesome. Hold on. I'm not voting for you. Hold on. What? Shit. It caused the delay again. Oh, I see. I bet it's that. I bet that's a issue with this, isn't it? There we go. I blame everybody in Wyoming. Oh my God, is this off kilter? What's happening? Fix this shit. It's just wrong. There I am. Now everybody can hear me, and they can hear me all the way in Wyoming, where the winds come sweeping down the... I don't know how that goes. That's not even our state. What the ever-loving shit is happening? It's just wrong. All right. Is there a... Hold on. Okay, yeah, none of that. Okay. God damn it. If I do anything on the software, that's what's doing it. Mother puss bucket. Hold on. Got it. What am I gonna have to keep this open so that if I turn on one of those things, it's gonna affect it every time? Shit. Okay, that's a bummer. All right, working on it. This is a test stream, so excuse me if I tinker a little during the show.
Else way up. No, I don't know. All we're doing is giving you this.
Hold on. I want to see the. God damn it! Quit that. I want this. This is not.
Stats that you.
There we go. I don't know why that was. Son of a bitch. So, hold on. Got to go back to studio mode, fix this again. And I'll go to properties and deactivate, reactivate. It's such a weird thing. It just doesn't like it. Something's up. It's a mismatch between the encoder, maybe? All right. Grumble.
It's way up. White males way up. White males have gone through the roof. White males way
White
up.
males have gone through the roof. It's yeah. Especially the one that you know who's recently what white male has recently gone through the roof. It's Tim Walz. Yeah, his approval ratings have gone through the roof.
I don't know. All we're doing is giving you the stats that you have. It could be that I'll be affected somewhat with black females, where we're doing pretty well. And I think ultimately they'll like me better because I'm going to give them security, safety, and jobs. I'm going to give them a good economy. We have a very bad economy right now. We could literally be on the throes of a depression, not recession, a depression.
Right, we could be on the throes. Okay, first of all, ass fuck. This is in the throes. It's in the throes. If you're in the throes, that means it's happening. You're in the middle of it, and it's churning all around you. Not on the throes. That would be on the edge of, which is not the throes. The throes, you can't be in the middle of nowhere if you're somewhere, dumbass. On the throes.
And they can.
God damn. And the mouth fucking flapping. Jesus.
It'd literally be on the throes of a depression, not recession, a depression. And they can't have.
Jesus Christ. It sounds like somebody fondling guitar picks.
That they can't have that. So I think I'm going to do well with everybody, especially when the facts are out. Yeah, please, in the back. Well, I don't know.
What do you think of her not choosing Josh Shapiro because of how you're doing with Jewish voters?
I know Josh Shapiro. He's a terrible guy, and he's not.
But she should have picked him, and she didn't. Not because he's a terrible guy, but because he's a Jew.
Not very popular with anybody. I think that this.
Yeah, that's not how you tee this talking point up, dummy. You could go, hey, he just got elected. He's very popular. He seems to be very popular. I don't know why they wouldn't go with him. That's how you throw it back on them. You can't just shit on him because he's a Democrat and go, but, you know, he's awful. He's probably worse than Tim Walz and certainly worse than her, you know. But they didn't pick him not because he's worse than her, but because he's a Jew.
This election maybe is better than Josh Shapiro would have been. But I think other than Josh Shapiro, I think she had some good choices. But Josh Shapiro is not one of them. He's caused a lot of damage with a lot of people. And I don't think he would have been better. I think he would have been maybe the equivalent, maybe not as good. But they had some people that they were looking at that were good, far superior to her. They actually had, had a story where they had everybody, including, they had like 10 people that she was looking at and her. And they said she was the worst of all. In other words, she was the worst out of the 10 people and her.
In other words, real quick, can you repeat that? Because nobody knows what the ever-loving fuck you are talking about.
I don't know how that's going to work out. We'd like to do 3 debates. We think we should do 3 debates. We think Fox and ABC, and we also have CBS is going to do the vice presidential debate. So CBS will do vice presidential, and
That'll be good.
And I have to tell you, J.D. Vance has really stepped up. He's doing a fantastic job.
Fantastic job. Just really is exciting. He's igniting crowds. His Michigan rally I'm going to do this afternoon.
Say it.
Are you worried at all about the size of Harris's crowds?
Oh, give me a break. Listen, I had 107,000 people in New Jersey. You didn't.
No, you did not. You didn't. That's the whole fucking town, dummy. You don't get to count everybody whose window is open in the tri-state area who can vaguely hear your voice.
Report it. I'm so glad you asked. What did she have yesterday? 2,000 people? If I ever had 2,000 people, you'd say my campaign is finished.
Hey, fuckwad, I was at the Vegas rally. There were about 2,000 people there. So I guess you're fucking done. Step down. Everybody shut up. Close. Here, hold on a minute. We're going to shut off the lights and we'll just go because the kidney...
The kidney has a very special place in the heart.
Whew, it's good. Whatever. I thought I was going to have to fight it off with my kung fu. All right. Just testing everything.
It's...
one thing I haven't tested in a little bit.
Here I am like an idiot.
That still works. It's good. It's good. It's good. It's good. All right. Here we go.
So dishonest, the press, and here's a great example. I had in Michigan recently 25,000 people, and 25,000 people we just couldn't get them in.
He didn't have 50,000 people in Michigan. That's just goofy. Not even close. He didn't fill the place he was in.
We had in Harrisburg 25,000 people, and 20,000 people couldn't get in.
Well, why? Because they were armed?
We had so many. Nobody ever mentions that.
That's, you know why? Because it's not fucking true. They don't mention it because they're doing you a favor, fuckhead. They don't repeat that lie because it's so obviously and provably wrong. You do realize that the capacity of the venue you are in is posted. It's part of the... Ask any fireman. You can't claim a venue that holds 8,000, had 25,000 people. I mean, you can. But if they mention it, they're going to go, obviously, he's a fucking crazy person who can't math.
When she gets 1,500 people, and I saw it yesterday on ABC, where they said, oh, the crowd was so big. I have 10 times, 20 times, 30 times the crowd size. And
no, you don't.
They never say the crowd was big. That's why I'm always saying, turn around the cameras.
No, you're not always saying it. After you got shot, you said it a couple times. The other times, not so much. Because if they turned around, they would see exactly what I showed on the live stream that I was on with my dear friend Boston Brian, who's out there, when I was at the Vegas event. And if they had turned the cameras around, they would see empty fucking grass.
I'm so glad you asked that. I think it's so terrible when you say, well, she has 1,500 people, 1,000 people, and they talk about, oh, the enthusiasm. Let me tell you, we have the enthusiasm.
Here's an idea. Just going to spitball this. And you can do it, too, because on your side, you know how the shooter had a drone? You can buy a drone. I have a drone. Shit, I have a Snapchat drone that costs like $200 that you can set on a little setting, and it'll just circle around and come back and land on your hand right before you're about to speak. have somebody walk out, and it does this fly away and return thing. It will fly back. It can rotate and then fly back so it can see the area and then return to you. It's programmed to do it. You could afford the expensive ones. This is just a cheap little one, right? I use it at some of the Nerd Halen shows. It's adorable. Maybe get one of those, and then you can post your pictures, and you'll go, oh shit, they don't have to turn their cameras around. Look at the picture we took. And I mean, obviously I'll post it online because people will use AI to count how many heads are there, and they'll go, oh, this is 2,800 people. But you could do it. Yeah, indoors. Matter of fact, it has a guard on it so the propellers don't hit anything.
Republican Party and me as a candidate, but the Republican Party has the enthusiasm because people want to see crime stopped. They want to see a country that's respected. Think of it.
Well, they do want to see crime stopped. You come to mind.
Were president, you wouldn't have Russia and Ukraine, where never happened. Zero chance.
Where never happened. Zero chance. You wouldn't have had... Let's run that by me again, fuckhead.
Stopped. They want to see a country that's respected. Think of it. If I were president, you wouldn't have Russia and Ukraine, where never happened. Zero chance.
That was clear. You got that? Somebody write that down. Yeah. You wrote it down? Okay, good. Now, wad up the paper and throw it in the trash because that was gibberish.
You wouldn't have had October 7th of Israel. You wouldn't have the horrible withdrawal. And I don't mean the withdrawal because the withdrawal was fine. I was ready to withdraw from Afghanistan, and
You were? You were ready? You were ready. Well, then why didn't you do it? If you were ready, what are you waiting for? I mean, you ran on getting us out.
We were going to do it with dignity and strength.
Ah, that's right. Because you're weak and undignified. And so we had to switch presidents. You're right. We did do it with dignity and strength because Joe Biden was in office.
And we were keeping our equipment. We weren't leaving $85 billion worth of equipment behind.
Yeah, we didn't do that.
We wouldn't have had 13 great soldiers. I know the families of those soldiers well.
Yeah, you know them well? Name one.
We wouldn't have had these soldiers killed, and we wouldn't have had 45 soldiers obliterated. No legs, no arms, the face. None of that would have happened.
Their face wouldn't have happened?
And you wouldn't have had inflation. You wouldn't have had any inflation because...
If you don't have inflation, that is your economy collapsing.
Inflation was caused by their bad energy.
No, it was supply shock following the greatest shutdown of the world economy ever.
Problems. Now they've gone back to the Trump thing because they need the votes.
Sorry, they've what? They've gone back to the Trump thing because they need the votes. What would the Trump thing be?
You know, I don't know if you know, they're drilling now because they had to go back because...
Oh, I see. So, sorry. Biden's drilling now because he's trying to head off your drill baby. That's why we're producing more oil and gas than at any time in history. And we've been ramping up to that literally since Biden came into office after the recovery, obviously after the vaccines came in and people went back to work. We've been ramping up to that ever since. But it's because they're trying to mute your fucking Sarah Palin talking point.
Gasoline was going up to $7, $8, $9 a barrel. So they said, we better do what Trump...
Yeah. By the way, if, I don't know if you noticed that, I certainly did. If gas was $7, $8, $9 a barrel, it'd be kind of fucking cheap. All right, sorry. Let's see. How much oil is in a barrel? 42 gallons. Okay. 42. Let's see. 40. Let's see. 47. Let's see. Yeah. I don't know. I looked at it. Average car is like 15 gallons. Well, I mean that's oil. So 42. Yeah. Divided by. So basically, sorry. I could fill up my tank let's just go 8, just make it easier. I could fill up my tank 5 times for $8. I was just going by what I normally pay. I was trying to work out not even the price of like per gallon, but just how many fucking fill-ups I could get in that.
But the day after the election, if they won, you're going to have fuel prices go through the roof.
Why? Why? What for? Why?
Everybody's going to be forced to buy an electric car, which they're not going to do because they don't.
Well, if everybody's forced to buy an electric car, then what the fuck do we care about fuel prices? We won't be using fuel, I think, is the whole... All right.
I want that. It's got a great market. It's got a market. It's really
You just got a free one from some online dickhead the other day.
a sub-market. People...
It's a sub-market. Congratulations, Elon. This is what you're supporting.
that. It's got a great market. It's got a market. It's really a sub-market. People want gasoline-propelled cars.
Yeah, they're not propelled by cars. I mean, I do. Obviously, I want the Batmobile as much as Bob Seska does. Clearly, we both want, and I think the one from, if both of us are honest, the one from the Batman. The Patterson version, that car, yeah, right. Somebody asked Bob Seska, but I'm pretty sure he and I would both have to arm wrestle over that fucking thing. It's hey, fuck stick. Listen, combustion engines do not propel the car unless they have a jet on the back that spends some of that fuel as an actual jet, which I guess you would run on. You'd have a kerosene igniter, and I mean, I'm trying to work it out in my head, but I want it. But they're not propelled by they're propelled by the explosion of it internally moves the pistons, and that turns oh wait, you don't drive. I don't know what I'm doing.
They want hybrids. They want to have everything, and they want electric. I
want a hybrid. What is that, hemp? Is that hemp bread? Is that what happens when you eat hemp bread? I've had it a couple of times, but it didn't affect me. And I don't smoke weed, and I'm not going to. But is hybrid, is that something that Snoop Dogg sells on his online store? Yeah, we're gonna have some Snoop sandwiches. Yo, try my hybrid. It's part of every Olympian's breakfast. Straight to the D-O-double-G. Buy my hybrid, it's okay with me. It's the only sandwich you can smoke. It ain't no joke. Take a toke and a bite at the same time. I can put together a rhyme.
But they want everybody to have an electric car. We don't have enough electricity. We couldn't make enough electricity for that.
Yeah, we could. Yeah, we can.
And you know what else?
What else? What else? Because I gotta say, that was enough for me. I felt like that was fucking magic.
The weight of a car, the weight of a truck. They want all trucks to be electric.
Uh-huh.
Little things that a lot of people don't talk about. The weight of a truck.
Yeah, they don't. Tell us about the weight of a truck.
Truck is 2.5 times heavier. You would have to rebuild.
2.5 times heavier than what? A car? Or it's 2.5 times heavier with batteries?
Every bridge in this country if you were going to do this ridiculous policy. So.
Hold on. Wait 1 second. That's the EMC. Let's see. I gotta say, hold on. This is from, I gotta say, this is from Bulldog Magazine. This is the Mack MD electric medium duty truck. This guy right here. There it is. That's for that guy. I don't know about you, but I don't see the tires don't seem to be having a problem. You do realize that if that was the case, that the tires would give out before the bridge did.
But on crowd size, in history.
Yeah, go back to that. Fuck this giant trucks can't cross bridges. Now that's a dead end, no pun intended. Go back to bitching about crowd sizes.
For any country, nobody's had crowds like I have, and you know that. And
well, free crowds, I suppose, unless you count every state fair ever.
when she gets 1,000 people and everybody starts jumping, you know that if I had 1,000 people would say, that's the end of his campaign. I have hundreds of thousands.
You don't have anybody today.
Thousands of people. In South Carolina, I had 88,000 people.
Yeah, but almost 8 years ago.
Alabama, I had 68,000 people. Nobody says about crowd size with me. But she has 1,000 people or 1,500 people, and they say, oh, the enthusiasm's back. No. The enthusiasm is with me and the Republican Party.
You do realize that the vast majority of the people at your rallies are the same fucking people, right? They're not the locals.
Because they want to stop crime. They want to stop people from pouring into our country from places unknown and from countries unknown.
Well, I mean, how can they know? Maybe those people are pouring in from the land of superfit sextopia. I mean, it's unknown. I mean, maybe they're coming from the land of hotness. Now what does that do? Now what does that do to your theory? Huh? Boom.
From countries that nobody ever heard of.
Well, then how can they? How do we know they're not Americans then? Right? Maybe they just left their passport in their other pants. If you've never heard of the country, can you violate the borders of a country if you don't have one? That's a curious question. It is very philosophical. Thank you for that.
That's where the enthusiasm.
That's where the enthusiasm is people are enthusiastic about, you mean black people from Africa, you know, because you don't know what the names of those countries are. Yeah, that's what you're talking about, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't get over the energy. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Yep. Uh-huh. Sure enough. Yep. Yep. Yep.
How important is it to you, and is it salvageable for you to be able to repair the relationship with Governor Kemp?
I don't know if I can or not.
Oh, they're asking, I don't know if it's really quiet. Great production value, by the way, Trump team, so that, you know, he's going to take questions and you don't even hear the question. Smart. Now, granted, his feelings towards reporters, I'm not surprised that they didn't set that up on purpose, but if I may, they were asking whether he can salvage his relationship with Brian Kemp. And I, you know, look at his face. What do you think?
I don't know if I can or not. I got him elected. Without me, he wouldn't be governor. I got him elected. He
No.
was doing terribly. I got him elected. With that being said,
Notice that here comes the fucking shut up hand. That's the whole, don't interrupt me when I'm saying this. Don't bug me while I'm bullshitting. Stop talking so that I can fill the gap with bullshit. That's what that hand is when he does that one. That one, he's afraid they'll re-ask the question, and he knows he's lying. So he does that push hand.
I hope we can repair it, but if we don't, the people are still the people, and they're going to vote. We're leading in Georgia by a lot. We're leading in Pennsylvania by a lot.
Nope.
So, but I don't know. Now in Pennsylvania, I have great relationships. In Georgia, I do too, but unfortunately not with the governor. I've never understood it. When you get somebody elected, they're supposed to like you. He's not exactly, for some reason, and you'll have to ask him about that. Yeah, I'd love to see it get repaired.
Oh, it's you're confused. He was oddly loyal to the Constitution and not you. For all of his faults, he views himself as a genuine conservative, and you as a pussy-grabbing second-generation dipshit who bankrupted a casino who tried to work the refs so that you could stay in office. I don't know where he got that idea.
I think that if we don't win Georgia, Georgia is a big win, is a big state. So I won Alabama by a record. Nobody's.
Yeah, when you're dunking as a Republican about Alabama, again, dude, you shouldn't have to bring it up. If you have to bring up how well you did in Alabama, you're fucked.
Ever gotten that many votes? I won South Carolina by a record. You don't win Alabama and South Carolina by records and lose Georgia. It doesn't happen.
Why? What would structurally be the difference? Or possibly demographically be the difference between Georgia in particular and also South Carolina and Alabama?
And the people of Georgia understand that. There was tremendous
Spirit.
Anxiety and problems in Georgia. A lot of people say, what happened?
Anxiety and problems. A lot of people say, well, what happened? How could he lose? Just because there's more people voting for the other side? It's never been, that's always been true. And it never cost us the election before.
And we have to, all we want is honest elections. If we have honest elections in Georgia, we have honest elections in Pennsylvania, we're going to win them by a lot. Well, he actually said it two ways. First, he said it incorrectly, then he corrected himself. Do you agree with that, right? You know, if you watch him, he said it two ways. No. I mean, he said it two ways because he doesn't really know what he's saying. Why didn't he bring it up at the debate? You know, he had a chance for 90 minutes to bring it up.
They've talked about it a bunch. Who gives a fuck? Answer the question.
At the debate. He could have talked about that at the debate.
No, Karina, I was doing a test stream because I was having issues yesterday. So I was trying out some things so that if it crashes now, I can fix it between now and regular showtime. And since he was doing this, I'm using this to test my stream stuff. But you can still you can still super chat, you can still support the show and give a thumbs up and all those kind of things that I always fucking forget.
And he didn't do it.
In that order.
But everyone said, oh, he said this and he said that. He's just, you know, they give him something to read off. He read it very badly because he actually said it the opposite. Then he had to go back and correct himself. He said the opposite. He should have brought this up at the debate. If he had a problem, of course there'll be a peaceful transfer. And there was last time.
No, there was not. There absolutely was not a peaceful transfer. You mean on January 20th because you tucked your fucking tail and ran because you got your ass kicked. It wasn't a peaceful transfer of power, you dumb fuck.
There'll be a peaceful transfer. I just hope we're going to have honest elections. That's all. Okay?
Oh, we will. And honestly, you're fucked.
You have not had a public campaign event for nearly a week now, currently in Montana, which is not a big state. Some of your allies have expressed concern that you're not taking this race seriously.
She's asking, for those of you who can't hear it, it's really light. She's saying you haven't done a campaign rally in 8 days, and the next one is in Montana, which is not a swing state. And by the way, a place where he owes two cities money for fucking, like, I guess, skipping out on the tab for his last rallies there.
What a stupid question this is.
What a stupid question. How dare you? She's literally saying some of your allies and some Republicans are saying, "What, you know, is this the plan or whatever?" Why haven't you been campaigning? She's asking.
Because I'm leading by a lot and because I'm letting their convention go through.
Their convention is next week, fucker.
And I am campaigning a lot. I'm doing...
You're campaigning a lot? Are you? Just, yeah, hold on. And I don't know. You can school us all. How much are you campaigning?
Convention go through. And I am campaigning a lot. I'm doing...
He's campaigning so much. You don't even know, okay? He's not campaigning, but he is campaigning, which is a totally different thing. It's like complaining, but you leave a letter out.
Tremendous amounts of taping here. We have commercials that are at a level I don't think that anybody's ever done before.
What the fuck is happening? Wait, first of all, commercials at a level that nobody's ever done before? You mean you're exhausted from filming bullshit because you couldn't just tape your goddamn rallies and use pieces of them?
Plus, in certain cases, I see many of you in the room where I'm speaking to you on phones, I'm speaking to radio, I'm speaking to television.
Right, but she means specifically like the Harris Walls team are barnstorming the fucking country right now, and she's a sitting vice president. I mean, obviously the country's in good hands and Joe knows what he's doing, so she doesn't have to worry about that, and she can spend time doing this. But you don't have anything to do. I'm just saying, like, you don't, there is no other, by the way, if any of what this motherfucker says is true or he believes it to be true, you couldn't possibly stay home a day. If the idea that if you really believed that if Kamala Harris gets elected, America will fucking end, how do you ever stay home? Ever. Honest to God. How do you stop ever? You golfing bastard.
Television's coming over here. Excuse me, what are we doing right now?
This is not a campaign event. This is you threw a half-assed press conference. What do you mean, what are we doing right now? This is not a campaign event. There's no audience. Don't get pissed at her.
She's not doing any news conference. You know why she's not doing it? Because she can't do a news conference. She doesn't know how to do a news conference. She's not smart enough to do a news conference. And I'm sorry, we need smart people.
Or she's smart enough to know that she's got 90 days to do a campaign, and she's more interested in campaigning than kind of retreading bullshit or getting bogged down in, in any kind of interviews. As a matter of fact, you know what the policies are. She's already in office. It's going to carry forward. What are they going to ask her? Shit about you?
People to lead this country, because our country's never been in this danger before, both economically and from an outside.
Also, what was that noise when you said economically? I'm curious.
Never been in this danger before, both economically and from an outside.
Economically?
Country, because our country's never been in this danger before, both economically and from an outside. From an outside perspective, Russia doesn't respect us anymore.
Fuck them.
China doesn't respect us anymore.
Ditto.
North Korea, Kim Jong-un, liked me a lot. He doesn't like this group.
Good. He starves his people to death, you dumb motherfucker. We don't want him to like us.
We are in great danger. We're in great danger of being in World War III. That could happen.
Well, if it could happen, they better fucking hop to it, I guess.
No, after their convention, yeah. And I'm going out, actually, I'm going out to certain places to help certain senators get elected.
Those are paid events. Those senators give some of their campaign funds to him to show up. They buy his endorsement. That's what that is. And they guarantee through the Republican Party in the state, and that's why it's a lot of red states, they guarantee that they will flood the place with people. So they basically have all their volunteers show up. They pay people, to work that day as a campaign worker, and they have to show up and fill the fucking crowd. That's what he's doing. And then they have to pay him whatever, $125,000, $150,000, like a fucking speech, and just to show up.
Not even for me. I'm trying to help when I go out to Wyoming or when I go out to Montana, or I'm going to different places.
Hi, asshole. Why would a Republican in Wyoming or Montana need you?
To help people. And I don't have to go there because I'm leading those states, as you know, by 35, 40, 50 points. I'm leading by record numbers.
Yeah, you do great in states that have fewer people in them than Toledo.
I'm going because I want to help senators and congressmen get elected.
You do realize you are running for office right now, allegedly.
Congressmen and women get elected. Yes, please. Yeah, go ahead. The upcoming what? Oh, yeah. Yeah, the Elon Musk. So, yeah, sure. So Elon called me. As you know, he endorsed me full-throated. Great endorsement. I respect.
Really? Did he kneel down in your fake Oval Office room that you have there to give you that endorsement, like you said?
I respect Elon a lot. He respects me. And not easy for him to endorse, to be honest with you. You know, it takes courage.
Why?
To endorse people, many people.
Oh, no. You don't have to have courage. You just have to lie. You just have to say, I'm not going to endorse any candidates and then endorse a candidate.
People have courage and many people don't. He does have courage.
Or he's just a two-faced fuck.
And Elon endorsed me. And he
Right on. Georgina, happy birthday.
asked me whether or not I'd do a show on Monday, and I think it's going to be Monday night. And I believe he's the host of the show. So it'll be very interesting. A lot of people are talking about it. I look forward to it. That'll be done on Monday night. Well, you have a lot of misinformation spread about China, and you have a lot of misinformation spread about a lot of different places. I think I'm going to.
You do?
Get along great with China.
Yeah? You think you're going to get along great? Great with China. Great?
President Xi of China and I were very good friends. We met right here, right in that, except we had a beautiful sofa there, as opposed to what we have right now. Right now we have you. But
and I couldn't sit on you as much as I would like to. And President Xi, he's very at ease sitting on human beings. A lot of times they'll bring people with him and they'll be his bench. It's a little gross. And I mean, I can't tell if they're screaming or they're happy. I don't speak Uyghur, but
President Xi and I had a very good relationship until COVID. And I held him responsible for COVID. It broke up our relationship. But I think we're going to have a great relationship.
Oh, okay. So it's back together then? So who's going to come crawling back to who? Really? You think this is the selling point right now? This is a great idea. I got to say, this sounds like a plea for funding.
And I think it's going to.
Also, I don't want to hear anything from the maggots on Twitter that somehow Tim Walz is friendly with China because he took a group of students there a decade ago, when this motherfucker's like, I think we'd get along great right now.
Be mutually beneficial. But
oh, yeah? So, yeah, who's doing the reach around?
We cannot have it where China is taking advantage of the United States, and that's what they were doing, as you very well know. Yes, please.
And they're not now, and they are failing harder than they ever have.
What's your question?
Oh, my God. Motherfucker, she said, you just said there was a peaceful transfer of power. And then Jan 6 happened, and you never conceded. So how can you say there was a peaceful transfer of power?
No, I think the people that, if you look at January 6th, which a lot of people aren't talking about very much, I think those people were treated very harshly. When you compare them to other things that took place in this country where a lot of people were killed, nobody was killed on January 6th.
Well, that's true. Ashley Babbitt was a nobody. I guess so was Roseanne Boylan, according to you.
But I think that the people of January 6th were treated very unfairly.
Yeah, I agree. I think a lot of them got a pass and they shouldn't have. I think there was a lot of worry about politically how it would look, and these motherfuckers should have gotten way longer sentences.
And they were there to complain, not through me. They were there to complain about an election. And, you know, it's very interesting. The biggest crowd I've ever spoken to, and I said peacefully and patriotically, which nobody wants to say, but I said peacefully and patriotically.
Walk down there. But if Mike Pence doesn't do the right thing, you're going to have to fight or you won't have a country left. You can't just leave that shit off. You didn't want him to tear up the grounds on the way there, or it was basically, don't fire until you see the whites of their eyes. The peacefully and patriotically defense is bullshit, and I'm tired of it. He said repeatedly, you're going to have to fight or we're not going to have a country left. You're going to have to fight. That's what he meant. Fight like hell. That's right.
The biggest crowd I've ever spoken to, and you've seen Maggie, I was at the mall.
Oh, that's Maggie Haberman.
I was at the Washington
You were at the mall? Really? Nobody goes to the mall anymore. Is that what that smell was?
Monument. I was at the whole thing. I had crowds.
I was at the monument. I was at the whole thing.
I don't know who's ever had a bigger crowd than I have, but I had.
Obama. By a lot. Martin Luther King Jr. Most 4th of Julys.
Had it many times. The biggest crowd I've ever spoken before was that day, and I'll tell you.
And you didn't have a drone fly over and take a picture. Didn't occur to you. 4K drone costs about $800. Didn't occur to you. Didn't maybe hire a helicopter. Maybe have somebody in, one of the helicopters that was going overhead. Make sure they got plenty of pictures, and then take some of them and declassify them for yourself so that you could use them for your campaign. Or take a picture of one of them with your phone and use them, and then, better to ask forgiveness than permission kind of thing. That didn't occur to you? Because people would go, that wasn't that big a crowd?
It's very hard to find a picture of that crowd. You see the picture.
Yeah, it's weird. Yeah, you would think on that day, maybe there... wait. This just occurred to me. Was there a reason why you didn't want anyone filming that day? Other than directly your speech, obviously, which you want to televise. But was there a reason why you didn't want cameras on the crowd at all? Because I got to say, if a crowd was going to show up for a big event like that, I'd make sure that I had people on the rooftops taking pictures, right? I would get campaign people, because they obviously have clearance to be up, on tall buildings and stuff, taking photographs and stuff, people that have been cleared. I would want those photos. Was there a reason, motherfucker? Was there a reason, you motherfucker? Was there a reason that you didn't want pictures taken of the crowd that day or video taken? Seems like there was. Maybe because you thought maybe this is going to go fucking south and you wanted it to, and you didn't want evidence of it on the day. You didn't want video present in, drones or whatever that maybe Nancy Pelosi might have access to see them coming. Maybe that?
Of a small number of people relatively going to the Capitol, but you never see the picture of a
small number relatively. So you had the biggest crowd ever. You told them you're going to go down to the Capitol with them, and only a small number broke off to go, and the rest of them was like, fuck that, dude. I'm going to go eat. I'm going to go to Kramer Books and have something to eat. Is that what we're supposed to believe? You told that the biggest crowd you have ever had in the greatest political movement that has ever existed to walk down there peacefully and patriotically and then fight like hell, and you're going to go with them. You said it. You said you're going to go with them, and only a little bit broke away and went? Is that what I'm hearing? Hal is piling community notes now. Yeah.
Crowd, the biggest crowd I've ever spoken. I've spoken to the biggest crowds. Nobody's spoken to crowds bigger than me.
Well, lots of people have, actually. And a lot of people, I don't know if you know this, charged money for the crowds they spoke to. So the people bought tickets. Yeah. They have crowds bigger than yours, and you don't get in for free.
If you look at Martin Luther King, when he did his speech, his great speech, and you look at ours, same real estate, same everything, same number of people, if not, we had more. And they said he had 1 million people, but I had 25,000 people. But when you look at the exact same picture.
Wow, that's interesting. Also, you weren't speaking where he was speaking, and the audience goes down the pool that way. You were speaking in a different area entirely. That's just bullshit. Secondly, wait a minute. This is the first I'm hearing him say that the number that he gets quoted to him was 25,000 for that day. That's the first time. I don't know if anybody else has ever heard him say a number about how many people showed up that day at the Capitol. Right? He said like a million before, or it must be 1 million or something, but I've never heard any conversation from this dickhead about it was 25,000. You know what that means? It's 2,500 people.
And everything's the same because it was the fountains, the whole thing, all the way back.
No, it wasn't the same. You were not standing in the same position. You were in a different area entirely.
From Lincoln to Washington, and you look at it, and you look at the picture of his crowd, my crowd, we actually had more people. They said I had 25,000, and he had 1 million people. And I'm
also, no, what?
Okay with it because I liked Dr. Martin Luther King. Yeah.
What? You liked that your crowd was bigger because you like Dr. Martin Luther King. By the way, it's Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., by the way. Also, what? Yeah, really? What do you like about him? Quote something. I have a dream today. Something. You obviously have it memorized. You like him.
Please.
Oh, he goes, you said repeatedly on Truth Social that it's unconstitutional for the Democrats to replace Joe Biden, I guess. Oh, wow. Can you explain your constitutional analysis? Which part of the Constitution? Dude. All right, he's being trolled by this reporter.
Yeah, sure. We have a Constitution. It's a very important document. And we
All right, so far, no lies detected.
Live by it. She has no votes. And I'm very happy to run against her. I'm not complaining from that standpoint. And I hate to be defending him, but he did not want to leave. He wanted to see if he could win. They said, you're not going to win after the debate. They said, you're not going to win. You can't win. You're out.
Yeah, we know that part. We know you believe that part. What the fuck does that have to do with the Constitution of the United States, motherfucker? You're talking about Democratic Party balloting.
And at first they said it nicely, and he wasn't leaving. And then we
heard your whole story before. The reason he asked the question is because it's gibberish.
Know it better than anybody. Wait a minute. So when you think about it.
Yeah, when you think about it, and he clearly has not.
They said at first they were going to go out to another vote. They were going to go through a primary system, a quick primary system, which it would have to be. And then it all disappeared, and they just picked a person that was the first out. She was the first loser, okay? So we call her the first loser. She was the first loser when, during the primary system. During the Democrat primary system, she was the first one to quit, and she quit. She had no...
And then she paired with Biden, and they won the presidency and the vice presidency of the United States in the actual vote that involves the citizenry, which is the part that the Constitution would affect. And, all right.
No votes, no support, and she was a bad debater, by the way, very bad debater.
Yeah, there's nothing about good or bad debates in the Constitution.
And that's not the thing I'm looking forward to, but she was a bad debater. She did obviously a bad job. She never made it to Iowa. Then for some reason, and I know he regrets it, you do too, he picked her, and she turned on him too. She was working with the people that wanted him out. But the fact that you can be...
Look at this little, like, fucking Despicable Me hands. I'm really lost. What was your question again?
Get no votes, lose in the primary system. In other words, you had 14 or 15 people. She was the first one out. And that you can then be picked to run for president? It's seems to me actually unconstitutional. Perhaps it's not. Please.
It's not. It doesn't have anything to do with the Constitution. It's how the party just chooses to run, which is none of the government's business. If they want to fucking flip a coin or see who can fucking chase a chicken around the yard and catch it first, and they pick their nominee that way, it's up to them. And then it's up to the voters to decide whether or not that person is the best from that party and it represents their values and all the other things, you shithead. And by the way, I can't believe there's not like a quick follow-up. Like, how is that unconstitutional, though? What does that have to do with the Constitution?
So I've run against Hillary, and I've run against various other people.
Mostly Republicans.
I would say that in terms of intelligence, Hillary was far superior. I would say that. Hillary was smart. She was her own worst enemy in many ways, but she was smart.
Yeah, she should have kneed you in the dick when you were following her around the stage. That would have, honest to God, I will say it till the cows come home, as they say. But had she turned around and gone, would you please not stalk me around the stage? I am not one of your Jeffrey Epstein concubines, something along those lines. It would have ended everything because of the way he was walking around her all the time, right?
Very smart. Okay? If you ask me to compare them, please.
What? How many think that he thinks Hillary's smarter than Kamala because Hillary's white, but because they're both women, they're below him anyway. So you can compliment him a little bit because not really doesn't affect. It's way down there. Again, hammered shit, ladies and gentlemen. Hammered shit. He looks awful.
Would you repeat that question, please? You have to speak up.
Yes, sir.
It's a hard room because it's very big, if you know.
Hey, fuckwad, you picked the room. It's your room. I'm down here.
So this is worth $18 million. Oh, I see.
No. It's not worth that. It's worth way more if you could bulldoze it, but you can't. The land is worth way more than $18 million. But as long as that building has to stay there and function as a club the way you run it, that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. The whole thing is very attractive. Leaning into the microphone, sniffing, lip smacking. It works.
So I think the abortion issue has been very much tempered down, and I've answered, I think, very well in the debate, and it seems to be much less of an issue, especially for those where they have the exceptions, as you know. And
except, what do you mean? The women who've been raped or raped by a family member when they are a child, and those who have a non-viable fetus that is attached to the wall of their uterus that if they actually go through the birthing process will tear their insides out. You mean them?
I think it's when I look for 52 years, they wanted to bring.
All right, this is all bullshit, too. Nobody wanted to bring it back to the States. Everybody. As a matter of fact, the entirety of picking Supreme Court justices was like, is this settled law? It's settled law. Good. Like, that's how everybody wanted it. Except right-wing Republicans.
Abortion back to the states. They wanted to get rid of Roe v. Wade. And that's Democrats, Republicans, and
gibberish.
Independents and everybody. Liberals, conservatives, everybody wanted it back in the states.
No, they did not.
And I did that. Now the states are voting. And frankly, some of the votes are much more, if you could say, liberal than you would think. Ohio turned out to be
Yeah, some of these bitches can go live in a state where they have more rights, and if we don't want these bitches in our state, we'll just lower the amount of rights they have and let a few of them die of septicemia to let them know who's boss. Some of these states, you see how the United States and some of these states is kind of incompatible as a concept, you shithead?
They had a big vote, and it turned out to be a much more liberal standing than people would have thought.
What he means is it's driving Democrats to the polls.
Kansas, the same thing. And then you have Texas, and you have other places where it may be different. But the issues...
It may be different. Yeah, it's certainly different if you're a woman in an emergency room, waiting room, wondering if they will treat you or you'll just die there.
Been brought back to the states now, and like Ronald Reagan, I believe in the exceptions for rape, incest, and life of the mother. I
believe in them. I'll vote against them if they put a bill in front of me that allows me to, but I believe in it.
I believe strongly. I think that that's a very important thing. I think when you don't, you have to follow your heart. But when you don't believe in the exceptions, I think it's much tougher. It's a much tougher issue.
Who gives a shit? If you don't believe in the exceptions, you don't believe in the exceptions. Those are purists. You can't talk to them like, well, it's just politically, I don't know what the fuck you're going to do, but, you know.
But about 82% of Republicans do believe in exceptions. I think and a lot of them are changing their mind and coming even further. I think...
Are they? So you've liberalized the Republican Party. Oh, you mean the Haley voters who are like, what the fuck has this asshole done?
That abortion has become much less of an issue. It's a very small... I think it's actually going to be a very small issue.
Yeah, no. No, it fucking is not. And you know when you're really going to find that out? In whatever the last debate is.
What I've done is I've done what every Democrat...
Because there is no fucking way that Kamala Harris in that debate doesn't say, this gentleman told Chris Matthews that women who have abortions should be punished. And he said it. Not just that they shouldn't have it available to them. Not just that men should be able to control them. Not just that the government should be able to get between you and your doctor, especially in a situation that might save your life. This guy right here, that dude, said women should be punished. Find the tape. Roll it up. Chris Matthews asked him, he said yes, there has to be some form of punishment for the woman. That's what he's talking about doing. That's what he's going to codify nationally. And if you believe what he says, that he's, I'm not going to sign an abortion ban, he also said he didn't sleep with Stormy Daniels.
Democrat and every Republican wanted to have done, and we brought that issue back to this.
Also, this is just fucking gibberish. This is him trying to throw out, like, this isn't my fault. I was just doing what they told me everybody wanted to do. I was following the pack. I wasn't a leader on this.
States, and now the states are voting on it. And frankly, some of the votes are a lot different than people would have thought. But it's the vote of the people is taking care of it. And, when you think about the Democrats are really the radical ones.
And here we come with the whole, they want babies killed after they're born.
In this, because they're allowed to do abortion on the 8th and 9th month and even after birth. If you look at your new governor from Minnesota, he's like the governor previous, the former governor. I don't want to get him mixed up because Glenn is doing a good job and he's leading our whole campaign in Virginia, Glenn Youngkin. But previous to Glenn, the governor, he said, the baby will be born, we will put the baby aside and we will decide with the mother what we're going to do. In other words, whether or not we're going to kill the baby.
No. In other words, a non-viable fetus with no lungs, no brain, its spine outside of its body, basically a collection of skin, organs, and tissue that technically has a beating heart, but is not alive and will never feel a fucking thing, that as soon as we cut the umbilical cord, it will start to die. Do we give it morphine? Do we put morphine into the baby? which is now a fetus because it's had to be born. It will now be classified as a baby that died in childbirth, even though it isn't. Do we inject morphine into it in case there is any pain that's felt, or do we try and resuscitate it even though it will not survive? What do we do? That's the conversation. It's a fucking horrible conversation, and it's one that you're talking to, in most cases, parents, not the woman, but parents. Parents who had already painted the fucking room. They were already hoping to have a child. And then they found out 4 months prior that it's not a viable fetus. And then they can't actually have the surgery to deal with it. And it gets carried to term. And then they have to watch it die, effectively. Watch it stop breathing, or its heart stop, or all of its brain function, what little there is. Continue. That's what it is. That's what that is. Nobody's killing them. They don't fucking flip a coin and shoot the goddamn thing. You absolute asshole. And the 8th and 9th month, those abortions, they want to allow 8th and 9th month abortions. So do you, motherfucker, because that's exactly when the life of the mother abortions happen. The life of the mother abortions don't happen in the first fucking 6 weeks. They happen near the end. Jesus Christ.
The Minnesota gentleman, this guy agrees with that. He is the most liberal. Look, between her and him, there's never been anything like this. There's never been a combination. So I'll use the word progressive. They want to go progressive. They don't like the word liberal. I like liberal better. I think it's more appropriate because nobody knows what progressive means. But
I think it has something to do with progress. Although I mean, obviously, we have an issue with the whole people who identify as progressives seem to be anti-progress sometimes, which is very curious. But, it's almost like illiberal liberals in that, which would be what modern Republicans view themselves as.
They now like to use the word progressive, but there's certainly never been anybody so liberal like these two, or even close. I think the abortion issue has been taken down many notches. I don't think it's a big factor anymore, really.
Yeah, fuck those bitches is what he means. Why are we... look, these are women that are complaining, okay? If they have a husband, their husband will tell them to shut the fuck up. My fucking God.
And when people hear what I said in the debate, and I think I said it very well during the debate, we brought it back to the states.
No, you said it horribly. That's a stupid, stupid angle.
Everybody wanted it in the states.
Which is a lie.
And very importantly, and you think about this, assuming you have exceptions. If you don't have exceptions, it's a more difficult thing. At the same time...
It's a more difficult thing? For who? Oh, right, sorry, the rape victim and the dead woman. Sure. Yeah, it is, you're right. It is, in those situations, obviously. Excellent point. It's obvious that it's more difficult for them.
There are people that strongly feel that way, and you have to follow your heart, and you should follow your heart.
Nope. You should follow the kidney.
The kidney has a very special place in the heart.
That's why, yeah.
But that issue is very much subdued. Yeah, thank you.
It's subdued. We've got these Rovember bitches on a leash. That's what he means. That's what he's talking about. He's got you ladies on a leash. Subdued. Fuck this guy. Subdued. Yeah, subdued. Like you're below, ladies, you're below the dudes.
Thank you. About who? Yes.
Sorry, I said I would never speak of it again. Unless you think it'll help.
No, I didn't. Look, if you take away guns, she wants to take away everyone's gun. If you
Not really.
take away guns, can't do it because people need the guns for protection. Now, entertainment, they want it, hunting, they want, different things. But they need weapons for protection in this country.
Yeah, but they don't need all weapons. Like, they don't need a Laws rocket, for example, or a grenade launcher, right?
People live out in the woods and they're not going to have a gun.
They can have a gun. They can have a shotgun. They can have a handgun. They can have a rifle with 8 shots in it. How about that? How about just not something with a 30-round magazine that you could duct tape to another fucking 30-round magazine?
If you look at some countries, I don't want to
Thanks,
go,
Chris.
I don't want to get them in trouble, but some
You mean like Hungary?
countries have actually gone the opposite way. They had very strong gun laws, and now they have gone the opposite way,
Name one.
where they allowed people to have guns, where in one case they encouraged people to go out and get guns, and crime is down 29%.
What are you talking about? Venezuela?
And remember this,
What? No, they didn't. What in the hell?
what is the toughest gun law in the United States? Chicago.
Yeah, but the guns come from Indiana and Missouri.
On July 4th, 117 people were shot and 17 died.
With guns that are illegal in the city, but were brought in from states where they are not illegal.
The toughest gun laws in the United States are in the city of Chicago. You know.
Right. Also, I would like to say that if that's the killing that they're doing with handguns, imagine if machine guns were legal. You don't have to. Go back and look at the 80s before the assault weapons ban.
Right. They had 117 people shot. Afghanistan does not have that.
No, they have a lot more all the time.
Afghanistan, by the way, was the lowest point in the history of our country, in my opinion.
That's just ridiculous.
That was the worst embarrassment to the history of this country, and
No, it wasn't. The worst embarrassment was any day we stayed past the point that it was viable or possible to do anything in the country. Every day after that was the most embarrassing. Leaving was never going to be as embarrassing as the day before, or the day before, or the day before, or the day before, or the day before.
sake, Putin would not have gone into Ukraine
This bullshit again.
if that didn't happen. When he saw the incompetence of Milley and all these guys that are
And how'd that work out?
incompetent,
And so he was like, yeah, now's my time. And cut to 2 years later, I'm going to be talking to my security guys today about why we managed to get invaded by the country we invaded. What the fuck?
when he saw that happen, when they took out the soldiers first, they took out the soldiers first.
That's because the soldiers were out in the rest of the country, and they removed those folks. And then they had some of them protecting. That's why there were soldiers that were killed. Because if they took them out first, they wouldn't have been there to be killed. We would be talking about embassy staff that had been blown to bits, one would think. Yeah.
You know, if you go back and check your records, for 18 months, I had a talk with Abdul. Abdul was the leader of
Oh, fuck me.
the Taliban, still is. But I had a strong
No, he wasn't, and no, he isn't. He was like third in charge.
talk with him. For 18 months, not one American soldier.
Right. You negotiated a surrender and withdrawal. You said, don't kill anybody, and we'll leave. That's what you said. That was the deal. If you promise not to kill anybody, we'll get the fuck out of here by this date. That's why they didn't kill anybody. Because you negotiated a surrender.
Were shot at or killed, but not even shot at. 18 months, and then we had the disaster of the lift, where people.
What was how did that happen? Did he just decide to do it? All of a sudden, did he just get tired of shooting at Americans? He just got bored with it?
People were falling off airplanes from 3 times the height of the World Trade Center. I mean,
No. No. They were not falling off the airplanes from 3 times the height. They didn't make it that far. The ones that fell off, yeah, no.
Terrible. But now our country has to be respected.
Also, by the way, what do you mean terrible? Those people, especially, many of them weren't trying to go to America. They were trying to leave to another country. And you wouldn't let them into America anyways.
Again, please. Go ahead, please. I'd be against that. That Kamala is in favor of not giving Israel weapons? Yeah.
Some weapons.
That's what I hear. Look.
That's what I hear. You just heard it from him, you dumb motherfucker.
She's been very, very bad to Israel, and she's been very bad to Jewish people.
Well, I mean, maybe Doug likes it a little saucy.
And I say it, if anybody I know is Jewish and they would vote for Kamala over me, they should have their head examined. If you think about it, I gave them Golan Heights. I gave them the capital of Israel, Jerusalem. I even built the embassy.
Yeah, that's Yahweh Sinwar says that's what triggered his planning of October 7th. Specifically, just letting you know that Yahweh Sinwar said that was what greenlit October 7th. The Golan Heights, Jerusalem, and the embassy moving there, they took that as a sign that America was moving into a posture where they would wipe out Gaza eventually, and that they would expand the territory into the West Bank that Israel had and all that stuff. And they said, okay, it's time. We'll pretend to be friends. We'll fall back, and then we're going to have a major attack. He even said it. He's admitted that. After October 7th, is exactly what he said was the trigger, was the Golan Heights and Jerusalem and the fucking embassy.
I gave them no Iran deal. The problem is they didn't do anything with it. Iran was broke. We could have made a deal so easily.
Wait, you can't give them no deal that they do something with. They did something. They made a deal. Hi. Yeah, because I'm streaming and I'm fixing my stream, so I was working with that.
I would have had a deal done within 1 week after the election.
Well, then why didn't you do it? Why the fuck didn't you do it? You were still president for a couple of months. So this November 2020, you could have had a deal before December of 2020. And you're planning on staying. You think it was stolen. You were arguing that it was fucking stolen. Right? They were ready to make a deal. Why didn't you? Why not? What stopped you? I mean, besides this is all bullshit. Besides this is all bullshit, what stopped you from making this deal? If it was going to save American lives and perhaps the world.
With Iran. Iran can't have a nuclear weapon. It's very simple. We would have gotten along with Iran. I was looking forward to it. I was fine with Iran. You know, we hit them a couple of times pretty hard.
I was fine with Iran. I liked the Khomeini. He and I got along very well till COVID.
But we would have been fine with Iran.
No, we wouldn't have. No, we would. No. We're fine with the Iranian people. We're not fine with Iran as a country.
But I terminated that deal. I got them the Abraham Accords. Everyone said that's impossible.
Who? You got who the Abraham Accords?
I got them the Abraham Accords.
Why would it be impossible to have a peace treaty between countries that aren't fighting? It's an economic sharing agreement. It's not a peace deal.
She's been very, very bad to Israel, and she's been very bad and disrespectful to Jewish people. And any Jewish person that votes for Kamala and her friend, her new friend, who I don't know if she knew him before, but I don't think he's too good. But anybody that votes for them, if you're Jewish.
Walls? What do you mean her new friend? Her vice presidential candidate? What?
Or if you love Israel, you have to have your head examined.
Also, I think he's projecting again. I think he's got one of the reasons he's been off the trail is because he's going through a series of head examinations.
Go ahead, please.
Oh dear, hold on one second. This is, where is it? I don't have it on this thing. Is that right? Hold on here. Yeah, here you go. Sorry. I had to bring this up because mostly it's been hidden by the microphone, and I felt bad. I just wanted to warn everybody. Jesus Christ, like, yeah, it's pretty rough. So just avert your eyes if you got a weak stomach.
They have. The FBI came to see me about the shooter. I think they've done a very good job, and I think they did a very good.
You what? What are you talking about? Have you not been listening to Laura Loomer? They raided Scott Ritter's house. Obviously, he's nervous because now they have his hard drives. But
Good job with respect to this other lunatic that they have in custody. Please.
this other lunatic they have in custody? Who? Oh, because they have a. Was there another death threat from somebody?
Yeah.
She should bring up her relationship with Willie Brown when he was separated from his wife and she was single.
Well, I know Willie Brown very well. In fact, I went down in a helicopter with him. We thought maybe this is the end. We were in a helicopter going to a certain location together.
A certain location?
And there was an emergency landing.
Was it certainly? Were you certain it was a location? What certain location was it?
This was
Oh, I see. A Pakistan guy got arrested to plot to kill officials. Yeah, there's been a couple of them, so I don't even know which one he's talking about, but that's probably
not
it.
a pleasant landing. And Willie was, he was a little concerned. So I know him pretty well. I mean, I haven't seen him in years. But he told me terrible things about her.
What? Well, if he told you terrible things about her, then clearly he didn't give her a job that she didn't deserve.
But this is what you're telling
Oh, yeah, they were going to Epstein Island. That makes sense. Taking a helicopter from St. Thomas to Little St. James. That makes
me
sense.
anyway, I guess. But he had a big part in what happened with Kamala. But he I don't know, maybe he's changed his tune, but he was not a fan of hers very much at that point.
Really? What, did he just blurt it out like the end of Almost Famous? You just like, we're going down. I can't die with this on my chest. Kamala was a bitch, and I still love her.
Yeah, I do. Go ahead. On what?
How are you planning to vote on Florida's abortion regulations?
Well, I'm going to announce that. I'm going to actually have a press conference on that at some point in the near future.
He has no idea.
Just I don't want to tell you now. But Florida does have a vote coming up on that.
I heard that, and I've heard that from people, person who is you.
And I think probably the vote will go in a little more liberal way than people thought. But I'll be announcing that at the appropriate time.
If it does, you do realize that's good for Democrats. Because if, obviously.
Please.
Your tax cuts from your administration coming up, fairly soon and potentially expiring. I wanted to ask you specifically about
Oh, your tax breaks are expiring. What are you going to do with the tax code?
Yeah. Oh, we gave tremendous for child care and all of that. No, our tax cuts, which are the biggest in history, are
Tremendous for child care? What the fuck are you talking about?
tax cuts are coming due, as you know, very soon. And if the Democrats don't renew
Coming due?
them or make it impossible to renew because it's pretty close in terms of vote, if they don't renew them, it's the equivalent of having a 4 times tax increase from what you have right now, and it'll
No, it isn't.
destroy the economy. I think they're under tremendous
No, it won't.
pressure to do it. I've never seen, all my life I grow up and
Oh, this is the whole, I've always heard you want to cut taxes. I can't believe a politician would honestly tell people they want to raise taxes.
watch politics, and I used to be on the other side of politics very soon. Then I run for office. But in all the years of
I see. So you used to be a Democrat or used to view yourself as one, and then you ran for office because the money was greener and the audience was dumber.
studying politics, I've never seen people get elected by saying, we're going to give you a tax increase.
Well, get ready, motherfucker.
These guys get up. Think of it. We're going to give you no security. We're going to give you a weak military. We're going to give you no walls, no borders, no anything. We're going to, all these things they're doing. I mean,
Yeah, nobody's saying that. Nobody's saying anything close to this. It's, you're super fucking odd. This is, I don't know why he thinks this. I mean, I do. I mean, there's a bunch of the front row Joes right now are going, yeah, I know, like, you know, to this. But everybody else with over, even slightly over half a brain is going,
the transgender became such a big thing, but they do all of these things, but they always say,
yeah, but you're not getting taxed over that. That's not affecting your taxes.
we're going to give you a tax increase. I never heard anybody campaign on a tax increase.
Well, on not on everybody, obviously on the upper 1% is kind of the point. By letting the tax cut you gave that particular group of people expire.
A politician has always said, I will cut taxes. I'll give
That's what a politician says. Yeah, politician from Central Casting.
you one example.
Great. And by the way, is anybody else fucking bored? Me too.
Social Security. They're going to destroy Social Security.
And by they, he means Mike Lee and the Senate Republicans that are working with him and a lot of the House Republicans.
I am going to leave Social Security. I'm not raising the years. I'm not raising the age.
You're not raising the years? You're not gonna hold back the years? Holding back the years. Holding back the taxes for it.
Will be saving Social Security, and I'm going to work it out that there's no
Real quick. How? I know, I get the sentence. I know, I've seen politicians will run on saving Social Security. How? I mean, I think that should be the big fucking word. How?
tax on Social Security for seniors. I'm also doing no tax on tips. No tax on
What constitutes a tip? You know what does? Venmo, Super Chats. Those are all tips. Hooray! I'm still going to pay taxes on them.
tips. So waiters,
Because he's going to lose, and that's nuts.
waitresses, caddies, people that drive cars.
This is the extent of people who live on tips. Waitresses, fuck waiters. If you're a man, what are you doing serving tables? Waitresses, caddies, and people who drive cars. He's going to have like a government official at toll booths, going, after you pay your toll, give it back to you. It's a tip. Get a little something for yourself. Go get a shave and a haircut.
People that get tips who have been harassed by this government, we're going to have no tax on tips. That's a big thing.
That's by the way. He says something. This is something he got from a waitress that works at Trump Tower here in Vegas. I would like to hear her side of this story.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Sure.
Oh yeah, sure. Yeah, totally. Yeah, he's innocent.
Because other people have done far bigger things than Steve Bannon. Sure, it's politically motivated. I think it's a horrible thing they did.
Hold on. A lot of people go to jail for time. They do a couple months when they've done, people who've done far worse haven't because they're found not guilty, even if they were because of a technicality or other kinds of stuff. It's a dense political system, or a judicial system that we have, but it's not political that it would be political that you pardoned him for stealing from your own supporters. That would seem.
Look, they've weaponized government against me. Look at the Florida case. It was a totally weaponized case. All of these cases, by the way.
Oh, weaponized. Say weaponized again.
The New York cases are totally controlled out of the Department of Justice. They say.
Well, they got to coordinate with it because you're a former president, so it's new territory. So they're going to have to talk to somebody. Obviously, you've got a Secret Service detail.
Sent their top person
No, he was number 3 actually.
to the various places. They went to the age.
They did. Well, that's that's why I like Democrats. They really know how to run things because they sent their top person to various places. Not a certain place. That's where he went with Willie Brown, of course, and Jeffrey Epstein. But not a certain place, but various places.
AG's
A spattering.
office, got that one going. Then he went to the DA's office, got that one going. ran through it. No, this is all politics, and it's a disgrace. Never happened in this country. It's very
Yeah, but we've never had a criminal, pussy-grabbing, second-generation shithead like yourself. I mean, it's a lot of this is unprecedented.
very common that it happens, but not in our country. It happens in banana republics and third world.
No, it doesn't, actually. In banana republics and third world countries, a lot of those fuckers just bug out scot-free with whatever graft they were able to manage to scrounge up before they got deposed.
World countries, and that's what we're becoming. We have no borders. We have bad voting regulations. Anytime you have mail-in ballots, you're going to have problems.
Okay, so now he's back to this. So Republicans, don't use mail-in balloting. He just told you, don't do it. It's bad. It will always be bad. They're just going to throw it out.
France learned that lesson. You know, France had all mail.
Hal, I don't think Willie Brown went to Jeffrey Epstein's island. I know he didn't. I'm making a specific joke about him and why he won't say certain location, whatever it was. He can't remember it, is why he's saying.
And voting.
It was fucking New Jersey to New York or something.
And they went back to paper ballots, voter identification, voter ID. They went back to a normal system, one-day voting. They don't want to be around, voting for 64 days. And look, the election, I keep talking about November 5th, but the election really starts on September 6th. That's
Yeah, fucks up your October surprise.
That's when it starts because it's early voting. We should have one-day voting. We should have paper ballots. We should have voter ID, and we should have proof of citizenship. Please.
Sure. A national identification card that no state can take away, that's tied to you via your thumbprint or your iris, that you can use for everything and has your social security information in it. And if anybody steals it or misuses it, they get automatic jail time. And if you ever lose it, you can get another one immediately at any government office. They will hand you one right away, just like a debit card that you can always have with you. And that shows it has a scanning bar on it that shows your citizenship information and all that kind of shit. And if you lose it or something and someone asks you, they can have a little scanner. You can scan your thumbprint and they know, that you're a citizen from that. Sure.
No, the gentleman in the back. For who? You're going to have to talk louder, sir.
Do you support continuation of tax credits for EVs? And secondly, what sort of political or policy advice does Elon Musk give you?
I think tax cuts for VCs, like venture capitalists, because it sounds like VP, but I think it's VC, tax cuts or tax breaks for venture capitalists. And what kind of advice does Elon Musk give you?
Elon is a
very smart guy.
very different kind of a guy. He's a very big believer in the country, but he's very worried about the country.
And his advice is do DMT and don't have trans kids.
He's very worried about the country. And I don't know if it's good for him politically to have supported me, although I think we have a vast majority of this country does support me.
No, not at all.
But Elon, more than almost anybody I know, I mean, he loves this country. He loves the concept of the country. But like me, he says this country is in big trouble. It's in tremendous danger. Okay, please.
So he doesn't give you any advice. Yeah, there's no advice there. You've just read what he writes online occasionally, or your son shows it to you, but you've never spoken to him at length about anything.
Polls suggest overwhelmingly that Americans trust you more than Kamala Harris to fix the U.S. economy.
I like this guy. I like him.
It's an RSBN guy.
What message do you have to America, sir, who are struggling to pay for everyday
Yeah.
groceries, rent?
The polls have suggested. There are some polls that say we're going to win in a landslide.
No.
People are voting with their stomachs, meaning
you get 3 more votes than I do?
they're going to the grocery store. They're paying 50, 60, 70% more for food than they did just a couple of years ago. Look at what's happened to energy. Look at what's happened not only to their cars, where gasoline's gone from $1.87, $1.87, and we had moments when it was below that.
Moments?
But it's gone from
Right. You mean when nobody was leaving their house.
$1.87 to $5, $6, and $7. And they take the strategic national reserves and they take it out, even though it's peanuts compared, it doesn't last long. But they're virtually empty now. We've never had it this low.
They're not.
And he's using that to keep the gasoline prices as low as possible. He's sucked all of the oil out.
Oh, you mean he's mad because the Saudi-Russian plan to drive up oil prices and wreck the economy to help him waltz back into the Oval is not working, because Biden is probably the single greatest oil trader in American history.
Essentially, the gasoline to keep
Essentially.
the...
Yeah, oil is gas, gas is oil. That's, I mean, honestly, what more do you need to know?
to keep the price down a little bit, and it's had very little impact. But you know what? We have no strategic national reserves now.
Yeah, we do.
He's emptied it. It's almost empty.
Nope.
It's never been this low. And I had it at a good level, and I would have had it more if the Democrats would have approved the deal. You know, I had a deal to buy it at $22 a barrel, and now it's going to be close to 100 pretty soon, my opinion.
Is it? Really? Is it going to be pretty soon? It's going to be back to 100? Why? Did you get a fucking phone call from MBS? Hold on one second. Oil price. What's our current situation? For the record, Russia's break-even price is $65, and they're only allowed to sell for $60 right now. Worldwide, it's 76, and it's up a percentage point.
And the Democrats didn't want to do that, but we bought a lot anyway, and we had it pretty good. And what they've done to the national reserves, the strategic national reserves.
By the way, Democrats wanted him to buy when it was below zero. It was negative. Hold on. Oil prices negative. It was negative $37 a barrel. Oil, Mr. Art of the Deal, you dumb motherfucker. It was negative $37 a barrel. They would have paid you to fill up the reserve. They would have paid us to fill up the reserve. You waited till it was above 20 bucks a barrel to do a favor for these motherfuckers. It was negative. They didn't have anywhere to put it. They would have paid you to let them dump the oil into our strategic reserve. Negative 30. They would have paid us $37 a barrel to take it off their fucking hands. I thought the whole concept of this dumb motherfucker was that he was a businessman and art of the deal and all that horse shit. Good Lord.
As you know very well, because you cover it. But what they've done is incredible. They've just, for the sake of getting some votes, for the sake of having gasoline, you know, that's meant for wars. It's meant for, like, tragedy. It's not.
Hey, asshole, didn't you just tell us that the country's in decline and the world's on fire and we're on the precipice of World War III? So what you're saying is we shouldn't be taking the oil out because everything is fine. Things are fucking horrible. But you should wait until they're bad to take out. All right.
Meant to keep a gasoline price down so that somebody can vote for Biden, or in this case, Kamala, who, by the way, is worse than Biden. And she's actually not as smart. Okay? She's actually not as smart. That's hard to believe, isn't it?
Well, I guess we'll see at the debate then.
Yeah, please. Okay. Sure, you could do things that would supplement, absolutely, and those things are pretty open and humane. But you have to be able to have a vote, and all I want to do is give everybody a vote, and the votes are taking place right now as we speak.
Oh, he's talking about the abortion pill, actually, access to it.
Yeah, but it's a very, there are many things on a humane basis that you can do outside of that, but you also have to give a vote, and the people are going to have to decide. Okay, yes, please. You.
What if they here? I'm just follow me on this. What if nationwide, running specifically on this issue is one of the primary reasons she would be in office, that Harris becomes the president, gets a very sizable number of Democrats in the House and the Senate, and then they pass they codify what effectively the rules of Roe into law, so that there is a nationwide guarantee of abortion access because the people voted in mass as the United States. Yeah.
On what? No, I think she's actually not as smart as he is. I don't think he's very smart either, by the way. I'm not a big fan of his brain, but I think that she's actually not as smart as he is.
What do you attribute her rising in the polls to becoming a more competitive race since she's taken over?
Well, she's a woman. She represents certain.
Fuck you. People are going to vote for her because she's a chick.
Groups of people, but I will say this. When people find out about her, I think she'll be much less. And I see it right now. I see her going way down in the polls now. Now that people are finding out that she destroyed San Francisco, she destroyed the state of California along with Governor Gavin Newsom. Well, he's been a terrible governor, terrible.
Really? Then what's your definition of terrible? Because the state went from like the 7th biggest economy in the world to the 5th. Now, obviously, China's economy is bullshit, and there's been a lot of failure outside that might, mean that whatever the 7th was is now the 5th because they've fallen behind. But it also, I'm just going to say, if he fucked the whole thing up, he would fall with them.
But they did it together. And she was early. I mean, she was the first of the prosecutors, really. Now you see Philadelphia, you see Los Angeles, you see New York, you see various people that are very bad. But she was the first of the bad prosecutors. She was early. Who? Would you repeat that, please? No, you. Would you repeat her, what she said? You have to speak up. This room is very louder. Do you hear her?
Yeah, can someone say this in a man voice?
A daily press briefing? Why would I do that? I would give you all the press briefings you want. Look what I'm doing here. But why would I do a daily press? You'd get tired of me very fast. No, but I will give you total access, and you'll have a lot of press briefings, and you'll have from me. Now, are you talking about from me or from a press secretary? Well, yeah, probably they'll do something. If it's not daily, it's going to be a lot. You'll have more than you want. Yeah, please. I don't think it's appropriate for me to talk about.
He's talking about clemency or pardons for the Jan 6.
I think it's a tragic story. You want to know the truth. And I felt that with Hillary Clinton, too. With Hillary Clinton, I could have done things to her that would have made your head spin. I thought it was a very bad...
Yeah, but you would have gone to jail for it.
Bad thing. Take the wife of a president of the United States and put her in jail. And then I see the way they treat me. That's the way it goes. But I was very protective of her. Nobody would understand that, but I was. I think my people understand it. They used to say, lock her up, and I'd say, just relax, please. We won the election.
The fuck you did.
I think it would be I think it would have been horrible for our country and we had her between the hammering of all of the files. And don't forget, she got a subpoena from the United States Congress. And then
he means hammering the phones and bleach bit and all that shit.
And after getting the subpoena, she destroyed everything that she was supposed to get. I thought it was so bad to take her and put her in jail.
Even though that you believe that's a crime? By the way, you couldn't have?
The wife of a president of the United States. And then when it's my turn.
Yeah, she was candidate. She was the Secretary of State, motherfucker. She wasn't just his wife, you misogynistic prick.
And nobody thinks that way. I thought it was a very terrible thing. And she did a lot of very bad things. I'll tell you what, she was pretty evil. But in terms of the country and in terms of unifying the country, bringing it back, to have taken her and to have put her in jail, and I think you know the things as well as I do. There were some pretty bad acts that she did. I think it would have been very bad for our country. And a lot of my people, a lot of the MAGA, as they call them, but the base. And I think the base is 75% of the country, far beyond the
Right. Yeah. That's why you lost by 8 million votes last
Republican
time.
Party, because we're a party of common sense, and I'm a person of common sense. I want to have low.
You are? No one with a giant comb over like that has common sense. Common sense would be shave your fucking head or just go bald.
Taxes. I want to have strong borders. I want to have a strong military so that China and Russia, look, they've allowed China and Russia to do the impossible combined.
Really? They're one country now?
They're natural enemies. They always have been, because China.
No, they're not natural enemies. This isn't a fucking mongoose and cobra.
China needs more land, and Russia has it.
China doesn't need land that's permafrost 90% of the year.
They've always been natural enemies.
Also, China does not need more land. China's got more land than it knows what to do with. It's just land that you can't do anything with.
And because of Obama, it started with him, and then Biden, because he didn't know what the hell he was doing, they've now become one force. And then now they're adding Iran to it, and they're adding North Korea to it. Pretty powerful force. This
Not really.
is something that is unthinkable that they allowed to happen.
What would you have done to stop it, other than joining them? By the way, that's what he would have done, by the way. What he's saying is, we should be in on that action.
Oh, it's going to end. The honeymoon period's going to end. Look,
What if this so-called honeymoon period doesn't end? How are you going to string your ass? He's like, excuse me, the honeymoon strategy is going to end. People are going to look. She's a woman of color. This has got to go terribly for her. That's how life is.
she's got a little period. She's got a convention coming up. It's about policy. It's not about her. I think she's incompetent.
Nobody gives a fuck. People who agree with you are already voting for you. We don't give a shit what you think.
Because I've watched her. She destroyed California. She destroyed San Francisco. Everything she's
San Francisco and California are still there.
touched has turned to bad things. I'm not going to use foul language, but everything she's touched has turned bad.
You mean shit.
She's incompetent. The reason she's not doing what I do, and she's not doing what she should be doing, she won't even do interviews with friendly people because she can't do better than Biden. Now, he had a reason for not doing well, and he was never, 25 years ago, the sharpest.
He beat you by a lot. He trounced you in the 2020 debates. If he hadn't flown 6 fucking times to and from Europe and been dealing with 2 wars at the same time and been exhausted, eating your lunch, he still beat you on the merits.
Or brightest bulb in the ceiling, that I can tell you. Okay, he wasn't. But he could do interviews at least. Not lately, he couldn't, perhaps. But
yeah, he couldn't do something this sharp.
she should be doing interviews. She doesn't want to do interviews. And the reason she doesn't is, number one, her policies are so bad. Just to answer your question, I think that it's not going to change because it's really ultimately not about her as much as about her policies. She wants open borders.
No, she doesn't.
She wants to defund the police. She wants to defund the
No, she doesn't. And she can't anyways. The only way the federal government can defund the police is the FBI, and that's what maggots want.
police. She wants to take away your guns. Anybody that thinks they're not going to come after your guns, you know, when I was...
Sharon is asking, am I playing this on a loop, or is this his speech? No, he's saying the same. He's in a loop. He's caught in the same talking points over and over again. He's just going back to the same shit. He's trying to hammer this stuff down.
As president...
This is almost over, thank God.
I totally protected the guns, and I think it's very important.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I'm sure crooks appreciated
And I
it.
know I take some heat sometimes for it, but you have to have safety. You have to have.
Yeah, and one of the ways you can have safety is that you don't need more than 9 shots for self-defense. If you need more than 9 shots, you're the problem.
When the bad guy walks in with a gun, you got to have some way of protecting yourself. And
Right, and that would involve very few bullets and good aim, because spraying the entire room with gunfire if somebody walks into a bank is, to shoot the place up is if you end up killing more people than the guy who came in intended to, I'm just saying it's counterproductive.
boy, that would be, you would see crime go up at levels that you've never seen. When people say on the side of the
I thought we were.
house, this house has guns, we will use the guns, they say, let's pass. We'll go someplace else.
No, they don't. No, they don't. They case the house for 3 days. They watch to see if there's anybody there. And then they go in and steal the fucking guns. And then those guns end up in Chicago.
You have to have them.
No, you don't.
And for 4 years, and as you know, the NRA endorsed me very powerfully every time I ran, every time. My sons are.
Yeah, we know the NRA. Those are the guys that throw gun shows 2 days after a school shooting, like within a block of the fucking place where it happened, as a defensive measure. They're lovely. They're also the people who were funneling Russian money into our fucking elections. They were a money laundering organization. Of course you need to suck up to them.
Members, and I guess indirectly I'm a member too, but they
Indirectly? What do you mean indirectly? They pay you, motherfucker.
gave me the strongest of endorsements, and that's against very strong competition. People that felt the same way. No,
What? Oh, you mean because all Republicans don't give a fuck about school shootings?
you have
Right.
to have that right. Our Second Amendment is a very important right,
Right, but if you can't handle it with a fucking shotgun, what the fuck are you shooting at?
and it has to be protected.
It is protected, but you don't need a machine gun.
Okay, how about you? Go ahead. Yeah. So there are some of the most brilliant people on Wall Street that are saying that if President Trump doesn't win, you're going to have a depression.
Really? Those are the brilliant ones? Who would that be? Which, I mean, hey, they're brilliant. Obviously, we know their names. Who?
I happen to agree. I think that's true.
You agree with who? You agree with who? What? I don't need all the names. I'm sure it's a litany of super impressive, rich motherfuckers with a pedigree of being right about everything. Just give me one name. Somebody will, I mean, they're saying it. Obviously, they're saying it all over the place. They said it in the paper or something. You've read it someplace. What would one of their names? What would one of their names be?
Because I know how bad these people are.
Last you do it. One of the ways you fix an economy is to know how bad people are.
They like to say that they did this and that. You saw the $7 trillion that they said it was me for $7 trillion. It wasn't me. It was them. They said
You were president.
that I had inflation. They took over 9% inflation. No, I had 1% inflation. I had actually no inflation because of
The collapse of the economy. Hold on real quick. Yeah, the Dow's up 683 points today, dummy. Along with Kamala Harris's poll numbers, I think, directly tracking with it.
If you look at the categories, we had
Always, never forget to look at the categories. There's blonde, brunette, redhead, short, not short.
just about no inflation, but I had a very minor, I actually had a positive inflation. It was a perfect number because you don't want zero. I mean, I'm not going to give you a whole course on economics, but
You could, though. Yeah, you could.
you don't want zero. 1%, 1.4% is great. You want a little bit because you don't want to have deflation.
2% is the sweet spot.
Deflation is
There's 7% growth is what people seek when they do a business investment. You want a 5% taxable aspect of it, and 2% will be used for paying off their loans. If it's higher than that, then more of that goes towards them not being able to get a profit or pay off a loan, and therefore the chances of the business failing because of that window of profitability, that minimum of 5% goes away. So you want about 2% for the borrowing structure of the money, and so 7% is the sweet spot. If you're going to start a business, you want to be able to at least manage your bills and all that kind of stuff as it grows and exists and all that kind of stuff, and so you want about 2%. See, I just gave you a class in economics, and that wasn't hard. Why didn't he say that?
In many ways,
Oh, because he doesn't know.
it's even worse. I had a perfect number right around the 1% number. It was perfect. And to show
Yeah, thanks, COVID.
you, it stayed there for 2 years. And then he did all of the different borrowings that he
Oh, right. And then he did all the, what was it? Vaccinating people and helping them get back to work.
did. And then he did so many things wrong. Every time he would do it, I'd say, big mistake. And don't forget,
Right, yeah. Every time he would do something, you'd go like, big mistake. What an absolute dickhead.
they sell hats and they sell stories. Trump was right about everything. I've been right.
No. Motherfucker, you said the stock market was going to crash immediately when Biden took office. Immediately. You weren't right about anything. Ever. Good Lord.
Right about a lot. Yes, Maggie.
Back to Maggie Haberman. She's got I swear to God, she has to have a fucking tractor beam or has figured out what his favorite perfume is or something. Mine was Calyx back in the day. My girlfriend wore a Calyx. It smelled like peach Jolly Ranchers. Ow. See, it works. I'm just saying. I don't know what she's asking. I can barely hear it, but we'll see once it comes up.
Well, we had
Yeah.
a commission like other people do, and it's always complicated and it's always controversial.
Yes, commissions are always complicated and controversial, and other things that start with C.
And we had commissions that, and I think of respected people, you know, many of the people on the commission, and they would recommend to me certain pardons for certain people. Some people were treated very harshly. A fantastic woman, as you know, she served 24 years for being on a phone call having to do with drugs. You know who I'm...
Whoa, no. No, no, no. We know exactly who you're talking about. That lady was a drug kingpin. There are people, she's out of jail, and dudes that she ordered to kill other people are in jail. No. You got talked into that. That was fucking dumb.
I'm talking about. She was
No, you don't even remember her fucking name.
great. And she had another 24 years to go. And it was largely about marijuana, which in many cases is now...
No, it wasn't. It wasn't largely about marijuana. It was about killing people to control the marijuana trade in an area.
legalized, okay? But we had many very highly regarded people on a commission, and they'd recommend, and they'd put...
And what did the highly respected commission, did they recommend Steve Bannon, and why?
Put a reason why. Some people were, served time, but they served a lot of time for something that today people wouldn't even serve time by.
Yeah, you still, if you're an illicit drug trader on a massive scale and you run the entire organization, you're still going to do jail. What a lot of low-level drug dealers or a lot of people who are like simple possession is not illegal. But if you're running a giant organization that involves you not just terrorizing and murdering your competition, but also legal growers now, which is one of the big problems. Just for the record, there's a lot of the illegal growers are trying to muscle out and fuck with the legal growers so they don't eat into their fucking market when they've done everything right. And this motherfucker wants to pardon some of those folks because they have money, I guess, hidden somewhere.
Well, for the most part, I think they did. I mean, they did. They go through. They went through. I had a commission. It was a very important commission to me, and highly respected people. And
Like,
frankly, they came up with some decisions that I wouldn't necessarily agree with, but I did it. But I let a lot of people out that had no representation. I went to people in jails, in prison that we respected. I said, how many of these people should be let out? We let out large groups of low-income people.
did you? So you let a bunch of low-income criminals out of jail based on what? Yeah, besides the Taliban?
We're serving like 40 years for something that today you wouldn't even be put in jail for.
Doubtful.
We had very few people let out because I said I really don't want to let people out where they had a lot of violence, where they had killing, et cetera, et cetera. And for the most part,
Yes, a lot of violence, killing, etc., etc.
we didn't do that. Yeah, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. Regarding the Fed, if you win in November, do you want more of a say over the Fed on issues like the interest rate? And do you think that
On defense?
over the Federal Reserve? And do you think
He's like, do you want more say in the on interest rates? If he did, we would be in a depression already. He wanted negative interest rates so that he could get the government to pay off his debt. What happens when you have a bunch of outstanding loans at 3-4%, something like that, and or 2.5%? Actually, he had one at 6%, and then everybody else refinanced when they went down, and he didn't do it because he thought it was going to go to zero. He thought he was going to talk them into zero, so he held out, and then they went back up, and he pays more. His loans on the Chicago Trump Tower are like his payments are like $100,000 a month higher than any of the other investors because he's a fucking moron. But on top of that, let's just say you own a bunch of buildings and you got a lot of outstanding loans, and then the government drops the interest rate to below zero, and you are able to refinance your loans directly on a huge bond level because they're such enormous loans at 0% or negative percent. You literally get a little bit of money from the government all the time towards your loans that you've taken out. Billionaires are the people who benefit from this. And these are the same motherfuckers who are bitching about student loans. Has he paid off the Bank of Russia loan yet? No, that's through Deutsche Bank. Deutsche Bank acted as a go-between between him and Russian money. That's why they didn't have to check his references and why they didn't give a shit about his financials, because it wasn't their money in the first place, and they were able to get the interest off of it no matter what. And they even had probably a clause of getting the property if anything went south. Of course, they'd have to pay off the money to the person that put it in the account in the first place, but they would get it at pennies on the dollar.
Right. Well, look, the Federal Reserve is a very interesting thing, and it's...
I agree. I mean, God, say what you will, but the man knows his shit.
sort of gotten it wrong a lot, and...
In what way?
he's tending to be a little bit late on things.
He's tending to be a little bit late on things. What he means is there should have been a drop in interest rates already.
It's a little bit too early and a little bit too late.
Hal, yeah, you should have known that once you start doing a press conference like this, he's going to say stupid shit like this, and it's going to make your spine feel like it's on fire. I know that, but I thought, maybe we'd get through a whole one, and it would mostly be just funny. Why would you think that? Especially now. He's way less funny than he used to be, even on accident. It's just kind of miserable and gross. I know, but I'm enjoying the fact that he's miserable and gross because I like watching him be miserable because of how he's treated people, especially women, over the years. All right, that's a good point, but I just don't want to hear any whining later. I won't. All right.
And that's very largely it's a gut feeling.
It's a gut feeling. Like really focusing on buying the Taj Mahal casino in Atlantic City.
I believe it's really a gut feeling.
That's because you're stupid.
And I used to have it out with him. I had it out with him a couple of times very strongly. I fought him.
Because you were trying to get the U.S. taxpayer to pay for your loan payments.
Very hard. And, you know, we get along fine. We get along fine. But I feel that a president should have at least say in there. Yeah, I feel that strongly. I think that
That's a moronic concept. That's idiotic.
in my case,
Because everybody would want to manipulate it to benefit themselves and not the economy in the long term. Everybody would be a short-term CEO looking for a good bottom line before they take a golden parachute and fuck off.
I made a lot of money. I was very successful. And I think I have a better instinct than, in many cases, people that would be on the Federal Reserve or the chairman.
Real quick. Let's see what's here. Let's see. I gotta find the. I don't know if I'll be able to find this in the last second. Trump owns. There's so much stuff about Trump that it's hard to dig back to the older stuff. Yeah, I'll never be able to go all the way back. Anyways, Trump pays more on his loans. I'll dig that up and I'll try and put it. I need to have like a newsletter, don't I? But everybody else refinanced. He didn't because he thought he was going to be able to convince the Fed to lower the rates even more, and he wasn't able to do it. And then they started going up, and now he pays more than everybody else on the building.
Right. Yeah.
They pay like 2%. He pays like 6%. It's like $100,000 more a month.
People going to prison for marijuana.
Yeah.
Harris supports rescheduling marijuana and also says that no one should go to prison for marijuana offense. Do you agree with those positions?
Well, as we legalize it, I start to agree a lot more because, you know, it's being illegalized all over the country. Florida has
It's being illegalized?
something coming up. I'll be making a statement about that fairly soon.
Yeah, fairly soon. 2 weeks.
But as we legalize it throughout the country, whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, it's awfully hard to have people all over the jails that are...
Whether it's a good thing or a bad thing, which is it, motherfucker? You're being asked a sound question about your attitude. You want to be president. Whether it's a good thing or a bad thing is part of leadership. Jesus.
in jail right now for something that's legal. So I think, obviously, there's a lot of...
No, they aren't. This hasn't been happening for a long time. People haven't been going to jail for fucking personal use for almost a decade now, you dumbass. Even the people who are getting like drug possession stuff expunged from their record, it was tacked on as the fifth fucking thing after, forcible sodomy, domestic violence, like evading the police and trespassing, right? Then they had pot in their pocket. Like, get out of here.
a sentiment to doing that. Yeah, please.
Yes, I know that, K-Link. I've got to go before 3, but I'm almost at the end of this. And then I'll be back on at 4 my time.
Kamala Harris's father is Jamaican American, and she went to a historically black college. How is she only recently decided to be black?
Well, you'll have to ask her that question because she's the one that said it.
I don't know. One of the MAGA people is asking him a question.
I didn't say it. So you'll have to ask her, and I very much appreciate that question, but you'll have to ask her. But I've known her for a long time. I actually contributed to her campaign a long time ago because I was a developer. I contributed to lots of campaigns of Democrats, Republicans, and some were liberal and some were conservative. But you'll have to ask her about that. But to me,
You didn't care? Didn't matter to you? You just contributed to people's campaigns. You didn't give a shit what they were for or against. It was just graft to you?
it doesn't matter. But to her, from her standpoint, I think it's very disrespectful to both, really. Whether it's Indian or black, I think it's very disrespectful to both.
Oh, so which one is she or whatever? Because she talks about one side of her heritage at a time. You bought the purple hoodie to match the purple tee I got 2 years ago. You got the Zoltan purple t-shirt. Yes, I will. Thank you, Ophelia.
Well, to me, it doesn't matter. Please, red dress, red dress.
Red dress. You motherfucker. Right at the... You almost got out of it without picking a reporter who's a woman based on the fact that she's wearing a red dress.
Yeah, pretty much recovered, yeah. I'm a fast healer. It's a hell of a shot, but I'm a fast healer. Yeah, pretty much.
You gotta pretty much this whole area. Ow! Oh, it's still emotionally sensitive. It's like right along. Ha ha! Oh.
Pretty much recovered.
Do you have any hearing damage from
No, it didn't hit that. I got.
Are you sure? She's like, do you have any hearing damage? Ah, no, absolutely not. What?
Very lucky. It just hit the lobe, as they call it.
As they call it. Yes, the lobe people.
Yeah, a little bit, not much. On top. A little bit. Yeah.
When Senator Vance has been asked about that, he sort of suggested that really you only need to go after people who've been convicted of crime.
Well, we're starting that, yeah.
So what are you really talking about here? How will you pay for it?
We are going to start the largest mass deportation in the history of our country because we have no choice. It's
Yeah, we know that's what you fucking said. We get it. That's not what he asked. He said, how you going to do it and who you going to target first?
not sustainable. And we are going to start with violent criminals, and we're going to start then with criminals. And our local police is going to work with us because they know everything about the people. They know their names. They know everything about them. They know their middle name. They know their numbers. And as you know, the other side is trying. You know, look, for years I wondered, why are they allowing these people to come in at levels like this? It was incredible.
They aren't. Especially the Obama-Biden administration. They deported more people than anybody, in history up to that point. Far more than this asshole did. Biden's actually deported more people than he has. There's a difference between deportations and expulsions. The Biden administration, when they were first coming in because of Title 42, was expelling people, which is not a deportation because people, you're deported if you've already gotten in here and you've settled in and done something else and you've moved into the community. An expulsion is they caught you at the border or they caught you entering the country and then they just kick you out. That's an expulsion. The number of expulsions under the Biden administration off the fucking charts, just crazy because of the volume of people coming through. It was just very much automatic, far more than he did. And then since the end of Title 42, deportations are up because the process is back to normal. But he's too stupid to understand what the fuck that is.
Incredible. And I said two reasons. They're either really stupid, and I don't believe they're stupid, because anybody that can cheat on elections like they cheat is not stupid. Or, in the alternative, they have bad motives or they hate our country. And I used to think they hate our country. But lately I've seen where they're trying to sign these people up to vote. And they have to stop. They cannot let illegal immigrants vote in this upcoming election. All right, one more question.
They're not going to. They can't. As much as you might want them to.
Go ahead, one more. Make it a good one, please.
Okay, regarding Social Security taxes for seniors.
Right.
we talked about a lot. Experts say that the policy has increased the deficit by $1.6 trillion. So
His plan would increase the deficit by $1.6 trillion.
We have so many ways of making money in this country.
Oh, this is the thing. We'll get rid of it with growth. This has been the fucking Republican storyline for years.
Not going to affect our Social Security. We're not changing it. And I proved that over 4 years. And we're going to do it. It's very unfair to people.
Wait, he's talking about this. Take away taxing Social Security. Taking that away, if you don't tax Social Security benefits, then you lose $1.6 trillion a year.
They spend their life and their...
What they'll do is, here's what's going to happen. You want to know what they're going to do? They're going to not tax them and then lower them. So instead of the government taking it after the fact as part of your taxes, they'll just take it off the top. We're going to take 20% of it anyways, so we'll just take 20% of it ahead of time. We'll just lower all those things so we just don't have to go through the process. You don't get to have that money for a short period of time and then pay it in your taxes or write off if you have expenses or any of that shit. They just take it away.
They're great citizens and they pay in. We're not going to charge tax to Social Security, the seniors. We're not going to do it. We're not going to charge. And also tax. I say the two things. We're going to have no tax on seniors, Social Security, and we're going to have no tax on tips. Very simple. And
no, it isn't. Also, what about an even tipping thing that happens where everybody pools the tips at the end of the night? So the cleaning staff and the crew and the waiters, most of these places where you tip somebody, they don't, especially if it's on the bill itself, they divide it evenly amongst everybody. So the good workers and the bad workers all get the same shit, right? They all get the same level. So at that point, you're no longer, that just becomes a secondary wage because it's not directly from the consumer. It's not a tip. What you're saying is you're not going to tax cash tips. Anything that's all, like, think of it as if somebody writes 15% on the bill, that's effectively they're adding more to what they were willing to pay for the food and the service, and the restaurant will dole out evenly to everybody an element of that, which is fucking communism. But beyond that, if somebody just decides they like what Bob Menendez is doing, they can give him a gold brick and there's no tax on that. Hey, thanks for the lobbying. Here's 9 gold bricks and a bag full of money. Think of it as a tip. What determines a tip? Is it specific to certain industries? Well, where's the lawsuit in that? What if I'm not in an industry where people, they could tip me, and I know they could, but they don't start because they don't think so. But I can say, hey, guys, feel free to tip. I'll put a tip jar down now, and then that'll be, why didn't everybody have that? Everybody will have a tip jar. You know what? How much does it cost as an accountant? I'm 4 cents an hour, but you need to tip me if you want your report done quickly. Like maybe I don't know. I'm ballparking here. It's not really up to me. It's up to you. But like $50 an hour's worth of how quickly you'd like it done, and then I'll see if I can get it done. Your folder, I see your folder going below somebody. There you go.
we are a country that has so many different ways to make money.
Can we focus on the legal ones?
We have under our feet more liquid gold, I call it oil, and
No. Everyone calls oil oil.
gas than any country in the world, much more than Saudi Arabia, much more than Russia. We have so many different ways we can make money. We're not going to hurt our seniors with Social Security, and we're not going to charge them tax. Okay?
Oh, I guess he does want one more. Nope. If sanctuary cities and municipalities aren't willing to cooperate, what do you suggest?
Should not have sanctuary cities.
All right, well, that'll do it.
Sanctuary cities is a way of protecting criminals, and we should not have sanctuary cities. And if you go to California, and I know it well, I have property out there, great property.
Why is it great? It's a hellscape. Everything's on fire. What do you mean great? How do you have great property in the middle of a hellscape? I don't get it.
If you go to California, and
Right, where you have great properties surrounded by hell.
And you ask the people of California, do they like the idea of sanctuary cities? They don't like it.
Most cities aren't technically sanctuary cities.
They're tired of it. They're tired
They're exhausted.
of crime. They're tired of what's happened to our country. Our country's become a crime-ridden mess,
It really hasn't.
and we're going to stop it on November 5th.
For the record, this asshole was an adult in the 70s in New York City. Go look up New York in the fucking 70s.
Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Well, that's that. Stream went and didn't crash. That's a good sign. Don't forget, you can buy T-shirts in the store and other stuff, and I will be back at 4 o'clock. I've got to go do a FaceTime with the fam at 3, so I will be back on then. This was a test stream. This was only a test. If it wasn't a test, we would have been attacked by the kidney, and that.
Here I am like an idiot. The kidney has a very special place in the heart.
Huh. Yeah. You don't say.